Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to VGL Spring Split 2. It's day 2, and I'm not Tomek. I'm not Blueberries. I am Scoundrel, and I am back ready in the host position. I am joined by, today, Dowsey and Forecourt Jester, as you were yesterday. Gentlemen, it was a really good start to the next split of the Vainglory League. We saw some teams, Fluffy Chickens, move up into the Vainglory 8, but a lot of teams back, raring to go, ready to get those challenge battle positions. Dowsey, you've been a long-standing challenge battle and VGL caster. How have you enjoyed the course of the last split and the start of this split?
The start of this split was super exciting. We saw some really fun compositions. 2.3 is probably my favorite patch, and maybe I'm biased because I've only played on 3 patches of Vainglory itself, but out of the 3 patches, Scoundrel, that I have witnessed, 2.3, and this is opinions of other people as well who tell me that they feel like 2.3 adds a lot of diversity to the game, and we're seeing it. These Challenger Series teams, they're innovating, they're bringing great builds to the meta, great compositions. I can't wait to see what we have in line for today.
Absolutely, in Forecourt. Today we've got coming up 4Justice versus THNMV, Team Kersor versus Make EU Great Again, and then we're going to have Avia Challengers taking on a team yet to be announced in the loser bracket later on. We saw 4Justice yesterday, Forecourt. You looking forward to casting them again?
It's always good to see those old names come back, right? It's not like they let defeat get the better of them. They've continued playing the game. They continued to iterate, to improve, and here they are trying to make a name for themselves. So yeah, I'm absolutely digging the story of 4Justice, and I'm curious to see how far they can go this split.
Absolutely. Well, we're ready for the draft phase already, gentlemen, so we're going to get on with it straight away. All teams ready and raring to go. We have all of our Rosters lined up. It's Lampo, Ottomans, Alchazer for Justice, and then THNMV are going to have Foskis, Dorcas, and Israel 137. So going to be going into the draft in just a second. 1 second. I'm just going to quickly double check so everything's ready and raring to go, and we'll be into the draft ASAP. Gentlemen, you just tell us a little bit more about what we can expect from For Justice.
For Justice obviously is a team that's had like quite a rich history. They've been to the Spring Championship. They've been to, I believe it was the Autumn, maybe it was the Summer Live Championship back in 2016. So you know they've had a great history in Vainglory. However, you know, we haven't really seen much of them recently. So Ottomans at the helm, you know, leading the team once more. Yesterday we saw some great aggressive play coming out of Alchazer, really the star of the series, if you ask me, forecourt. And they're a team that are basically wanting to hit those top 3 positions, make it into the challenge battles, make it back into the VGA.
Okay, we are ready to go. Sorry about that. It's actually completely my fault. I basically reset all of my OBS and forgot to add Elgato as a source to the draft lobby. So we were just seeing a black screen. But we are ready to go now. Both teams are absolutely sorted, and we should have that up on screen in just a second. We are going to transition into the draft. There we go. Drafts is all up and ready to go on the lobby. And gentlemen, it has started. Lyra's still a very popular ban here for Justice, taking that away at the beginning. THNMV going to respond with the Fortress. I am super not surprised. Fortress has one of the highest win rates right now out of pretty much any jungler in the game, and obviously can adapt into that roam position or captain position. But the Adagio still very popular, Dalsey, coming through here. 2.3, first picked by For Justice.
Yeah, no surprise there. We'll have to see if it goes into the carry position or if it's a captain. You know, fantastic flex pick because of that in itself. Lance most likely going to be locked in, as it's seemingly, you know, the second best kind of captain you can get after these healers. So, you know, no surprise to see TH and Envy prioritize that pick.
And forecourt, you can see here, they're looking for a pick after this Lance. Now, they are considering multiple options here. It looks like it could potentially be a Kestrel. Kestrel still retaining her popularity. Do you expect this to be potentially CP, or are we going to see that weapon power Kestrel that a lot of teams have been running in the lane?
Well, if they are going to be thinking about putting a pedal out there, it will be that Weapon Kestrel in lane. We did actually see Weapon Kestrel. We saw Crystal Kestrel yesterday, as Dazzy and I were guests for both regions. But at the same time, if they expected that there's going to be this melee jungler coming in, which, as you can see, it's now going to be that Alpha to go with the Gwen and the Adagio, then the Weapon Kestrel can definitely do some work mid to late game. You stack into that weapon power, you get that active camo option, and a Rhyme is going to be there for the peel there as well. So between the Rhyme and that Lance, I'm still going with the Weapon Kestrel in lane, and by time you hit mid to late, I'm certain that she'll shine.
Absolutely, Weapon Kestrel coming in the lane. 4 items on Weapon Power Kestrel can be devastating. Rhyme coming through as it's considered classically a bit of a counter to Alpha, but if anyone has been keeping up with Vainglory recently, you'll know that Alpha is in a very strong position right now, albeit we're not sure whether it's an intended strong position or not, but she's incredibly strong at this point in time, and I don't think there's been any changes to her as of yet on update 2.3. So, yeah, they are running that particular skin that is the strong. I don't know how to phrase this without saying could be bugged, but
well, there's a hot fix on Tournament Realm. That's all I'm gonna say about it. So we're not on Tournament Realm. This is the live server, but you are right, Excountrel. Very strong, this Alpha, and I guess if you're going to be trying to counter at least one hero because of it, then Rhyme is probably your best pickup.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave you two gentlemen to it. Forecourt and Dalsey, take it away.
that fountain with that Sorrow Blade on top of things. Yeah, we had a aftershock come in, right? But fountain is the big thing.
It is, yeah, no, Fountain going to be finished for Ottomans, so that's like a pretty huge purchase because of the fact that Fountain's already been used by TH Envy. This is Fuskies looking like he may fall, yes he will, to Alchizer now, and we're going to have to see whether or not they can get any more for it.
Well, Ottomans, he's going real deep.
He is going deep. He's gonna fall. This is just back and forth. There's nothing much to say about it other than the fact that Ottomans will fall eventually, trying to dip and dive these Winter Spires, but not gonna happen.
It's also kind of freezing the lane a little bit right there for Lampo as well. Come on, Lampo, don't do the same trick. All right, well, he has a skedaddle this time. Very different than that level 1 kill.
It is, yep. But what is there to say here, Folkart? We've got two teams that both want blood, right?
Oh, maybe, man. Like, Lampo, he's just not having a good day. Like, Foski's starting to come online.
He is. There's a lot of damage coming through. Full Justice even. They've got so much damage on their side. You know, if Alchizer lands a priority target, well, it almost like there's nothing that Foskies can do. We don't have the Eve of Harvest for Israel yet. In fact, he's prioritizing a piercing shard, so likely going towards that Broken Myth first item.
You could actually just leave that that shard there, just use that base pierce. Oh, the ace went wide.
Ace does go wide, and that's him dead. Almost in a heartbeat there for TH Envy. So much back and forth.
So back to Israel. I don't. Okay, well, he is going to get it. I think having just that little bit of pierce would have been fine. And then going into that Evil Harvest might have been a little bit better because Alchizer is looking for some pretty heavy burst right there. But if you do want to try to go toe-to-toe here with the Gwen, with Yadadaji, you're going to need that sustain. But it's just not to be. Israel is really just looking to stack up that damage. And if he can get, 6, 7, 8, 9 stacks on top of that Broken Myth, his Valkyrie's going to hit.
Yeah, that's going to be huge damage, but it's going to be this turnaround coming out of For Justice as they look to take down Israel as well. No sustain, and that's going to be Dorcas under the turret trying to escape, but can you escape an Alpha? Just about. Ottoman's looking for the last hit. There it is. Ace comes through for this For Justice team as Alchizer not quite able to get in range of the turret to pop the Termination Protocol, but there's such a huge minion wave. They might be able to just get it by themselves, these little minions.
No, the minions for sure just going to finish that off. So make that transition, find that gold miner. And, Alchizer might have had to pop out his ult there and might have a little bit of a cooldown, but he did not go down. They pick up the ace, and For Justice all of a sudden going to be taking a big swing at the gold difference here this matchup. Call it 2,000 or so ahead with Lampo now into second item. You're going to be looking at Alchizer. There's no Stormcrown here, by the way. There's no Stormcrown on this jungle. This is going to be pure damage alpha because she herself now has that Broken Myth to go with it. And if you look at the difference between like Alchizer and Israel now, you're seeing quite a stark contrast in those items.
Yeah, certainly are. The kills really starting to stack up for this Alpha, like you mentioned. And I'm not sure I'd expect a Storm Crown on an Alpha. We did see one yesterday from the Blank over in NA's Challenger Series, but I think that was more, just them messing around Rage Pingers rather than showing us super new OP builds.
Yeah, no super new OP builds here today. Just the same old super OP build.
Right, here comes Alchizer looking for more onto Foskies, and that's going to be Foskies going low, but escaping for now. Fountain goes out, Dorcas about to get away. Israel trying to stack up the damage. Lampo in trouble. Lampo able to find a return before he goes down, just leaving Ottomans left alive for Justice. Now TH Envy, they're looking to try and find an ace. Pale though won't connect, so Ottoman's just dipping and diving as usual, in and out, like we've seen this Adagio do before. Back and forth team fights. It's kind of the story of this game so far. There's not really an advantage to either teams.
back forth. Gold, not that different, but that was definitely good from Envy. I mean, getting the better of the trade there with that 2v1. Israel kind of had to really throw himself at that comp in order to make it happen. Yeah, he died for it, but he was able to enable the 2-1 kill for that. So again, like I really do feel like if Israel had gone into the Eve these things might be a little bit easier for him. He could live longer, be that distraction that he needs to be, stay on that back line. But I'm just not seeing this broken myth really making the difference. I mean, yeah, it stacks up for the ability power on top of things, but there's very little shield to deal with. I just didn't really think that the curse was needed this early, but it's maybe working out. It's hard to tell so far as teams go back and forth.
Right, you know, a broken myth in an extended fight, obviously going to do a lot, but if you're dying, then are you in an extended fight? Here comes Alchizer with the Prime Directive straight on into the backline. Fosky's in so much trouble, but the Impale are going to keep him alive for now as Dorcas buying some time for Fosky's to get out. Israel, though, stunned up, inverse. Not going to be targeted, though. There's the flare to reveal his position.
Whoops.
Alchizer going to have the cooldowns in just a second to get the kill. Israel going to go down here as the chase is successful. This Crystal Sentry going to go down by looks of things, as well as Alchizer realizes he's tanking it up, but this Alpha don't care.
She has the burst at this point. She had the damage, has some armor now building up to that as well. So we're going to be seeing Alchizer picking up into that Atlas here soon enough. Speaking of, Dorcas picks up his, and we go into 3 items here for Foskies, but a little bit of a stranger team fight, it feels like, right there. No gold still to go through. Men's gold payout will secure more of a lead here from For Justice, but yeah, Israel's starting to really fall behind, I feel, at this point, and that's not doing Envy any favors.
Has gone into a bit more defensive. You can see the Eve of Harvest is coming out soon for Israel, but maybe too little too late. These team fights kind of dictated by the jungler's ability to do damage to the carries, which, you know, seems very obvious, but it's just so clear here for Alchizer that if this Alpha can get onto Foskies, then, or THNB, they're not getting as much damage output because of it.
Okay, that's a crystal infusion for Foskies coming through.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Well, the cooldown reduction, the extra ability power and the splash, right?
Don't think it will affect the active camo length much, but yeah, no. As you say, there is a clear reason that you might want cooldown reduction, like mentioned. So it hasn't been popped yet. We'll see how potentially a fight soon as we do get some infusions being popped here by Lampo. Here's the Prime Directive. Foski's going to get knocked upon, has popped that infusion, but can he escape? The damage, no, burning away, but he does find 1 kill for his troubles. Impale onto Alchizer as THNB trying to escape, but Israel's just not sustaining enough, has fortified health, but is it enough to define himself? No, he will fall in the end. 2 for 1 once more goes in favor of For Justice.
I don't like the harp, but Israel going this damage rhyme is not the front line with Dorcas that I was trying to set themselves up for. Because Dorcas, like, he's trying to do his PO thing, right? But just look how easy it is to get on top of Foskies, right? Like, Foskies, I'm actually rather surprised Fosky got the kill in the last fight because he was really heavily pressured, right? The Alpha jumped him, Ottomans threw down that verse, Foskies really had to reposition it. It came down to 1 hit as Lampo skedaddled forward looking for it. He got shot in the face and died. And Foskies almost looked like he was going to survive past that from there. But Israel's just becoming more and more of a no factor, it feels like. Like, Alchizer, 4-1-5, 72 farm compared to the 54 there of Israel. I mean, the pace of the game is really going towards For Justice as time goes on, but Israel is becoming more and more of a weak link.
He is becoming a weak link at the moment as he gets bursted on down. I guess the saving grace for THNB is Foskies is very far ahead of Lampo, but doesn't matter when Alchizer can just take down your Rhyme. The counter pick to the Alpha in a heartbeat. Foskies just about getting away with his life there as For Justice going to start up the aggression onto these turrets. Alchizer, okay, just looking for the, yeah, right? This is just Alchizer things. If you didn't see yesterday, well, you're kind of getting a bit of a glimpse of it here today.
All right, that's another kill. That's another turret. That's more gold between these teams, 5K or so. Gwen had an infusion ticking throughout that fight. We do have our second infusion there on top of Foskies. As you did mention, it is Crystal. And that's going to be the last of the gold payouts as an immense does go through uncontested for Justice. It's going to be the Kraken now coming through here soon enough. And, you know, with the state of the game, you know, 15, 20 minutes, right? Oh, Envy could definitely have like that nice mid to late game ranged power, but we just picked up second item here from Ezra, and he does have that Eva Harvest now online. But might be too little too late.
We'll have to see. Like as said, Foskis at least has been out farming his opponent, and this is going to be some great damage going on to Alchaiser. Ottoman's coming around the corner to try and help out, but it's not going to be enough. Alchaiser in the middle, going to blow up, but Alchaiser's still there, and oh dear, Lampo just in the middle of things. They're trying to split their focus to get Lampo down, but can they find Alchaiser as well? Still alive, still doing the damage, but is about to go down. Double kill comes forward for Foskis. Ottomans will go down for the triple and the ace for TH Envy. What a difference Eve of Harvest makes.
I'm not attributing that to Israel at all. I'm attributing that to Alchaiser really going bloodthirsty ham right there. Like, he engaged 4v1. He engaged with a Crystal Sentry sitting there and an entire team to come down on his face. Like, the rest of everybody had to play catch-up at that point. Lambo, you saw it in the middle of things. Ottomans coming in from a third angle on that fight. I mean, yes, the Eve is great, but that was just a pure Alchaiser tunnel vision situation.
Yeah, no, I think that definitely does have a bit to play there. Kraken goes over Alchaiser, timing in once more, looking for a fight as everyone's in the mid. Looks like For Justice are going to go in. Lampo laying down some damage. Alchaiser with the Prime Directive straight onto the back line. Going to get stunned up though in the active camo if he's not careful, but he is able to just about get out of it. Alchaiser able to burst on down. That's going to be the Rhyme falling Foskis. Well, where are you going to go apart from away from a rebooting Alpha? But can you survive is the question. The Flare going to make things difficult. Lampo going to be able to slow you down, and that's it. Triple kill for Lampo. They managed to find it, but what do they have to do now? They're going for a turret. This is bonkers. The Kraken is taking down their turrets as we speak, but I guess they feel if they can at least find one turret for the ace, then it's all worth.
Well, they're going to get fined one. They can't race it, not with Alchaiser all the way back home, but what, turret for a turret right there, and this Kraken at this rate probably going to find this second one. Really depends on how much Lampo can do, and Lampo's actually sitting at a very hard-hitting spec. I mean, he has that 4 red online, has the Bonesaw, Tyrants, Monaco, and then the breaking point to go with the Sora Blade. So not quite 2 turrets for the Kraken. She will fall before the second one goes through. That's going to be a pretty big net worth increase over to For Justice because they get themselves the ace, the turret, and the Kraken only give up their turret themselves. That's putting them now 6k ahead.
Right, if you consider it, you know, turret goes over to TH Envy, but also turret goes over to For Justice. That means the turret gold, net gold is void. It's equaled out, and then you get the 500 per person per the Kraken. So yeah, you're 100% maths matches, and that's going to be the gold lead continuing to grow before Justice here. TH Envy, yes, they did get that Kraken earlier. You know, the ace on some forced aggression more than anything, but now with For Justice as a 3, this next fight could just spell disaster.
All right, infusions, lots of finalized items. Alchaiser with a shatter glass. That's what we like to see here, Dowsy. But yeah, you're looking at 3 to 4 items, 4.5 items on quite a few characters here into this this transition into the late game. But we also got these defensive infusions ready to go from Envy. They're no slouch on this point, and Foskis has gotten himself into the boots. So we'll have to see if that increased mobility will help him out, because so far Alchaiser has proven that he has nowhere that you can't hide from him.
Here comes For Justice, looking for an engage once more. Israel just running away. Here, Prime Directive, they're going to connect. And Israel now in trouble. The Fountain not going to come out from Dorcas. Whoops, a daisy. That's going to be a 1 for none at this point. For Justice disengaging, though. They're going to head back in, steal away some jungle creeps, because I believe the Kraken has just awoken.
Yep, and there she is. Good timing right here from For Justice. Timed out very nicely. Got themselves the kill. That's very likely not going to be Envy trying to contest this. Like, they're having trouble 2v3. Well, they're 3v3. They're not going to win 2v3. And we have still 10 seconds on top of that. It didn't happen. 10 seconds on top of the one shot because she tried to go for the kill on top of Lampo at the end of it all.
Dorcas just about able to sidestep the Prime Directive, but Lampo's here with the slows from the buckshot. Dorcas likely to fall. Oh, misses the roll over the wall. That will be Dorcas falling. A terrible time to fall as well. 40 seconds on your captain. That means no Atlas, no Fountain, and no Crucible for the next 40 seconds. And here comes the Kraken into the base.
Does Autumn has a slumbering husk?
Wow. And
I did not notice that until just now. Okay.
Ottomans is going the angel build. If you play recommended builds on Adagio, then it recommends a Slumbering Husk plus some of these other items. It's quite funny.
It
Not entirely sure
recommends a
why.
clockwork. Is that
Yep.
what you're telling me here?
It does. Yep. It recommends a
Captain
clockwork.
Adagio recommends a clockwork.
It's I think it's called Angel of Death. I was watching Bayou's stream earlier. He was playing a bit of Blitz on Adagio, and the recommended build. It's no fountain as well, so he has broken away from the recommended build because he has built a fountain. But this Captain Angel of Death recommended build, it's quite fun. Maybe go check it out in your solo queue games when you have a chance. But wow, great stuff coming out of For Justice. They take that one bloodily against TH Envy, but this is not over. This is a best of 3 series.
You would like me to talk, even though no one introduced me. Okay, wonderful. I'm back from my Windows 10 update, by the way, guys, and I'm ready to roar and get this next game under the way. That was that was a strong game from For Justice. Obviously, using a hero who has got a level of strength right now in the current meta. She obviously had a huge impact that game, and again, I think there was some potentially questionable builds coming out from the guys on the side of TH and Envy. Obviously, against an alpha, maybe the sustain with the Eve of Harbors, you were right there, Forecourt. I want to pick up on some interesting things that, obviously, we've seen Bonesaw become very powerful this update, but because Weapon Power Kestrel so focused on those glimmer shots, not likely to be stacking Bonesaw, she's still going that traditional build of the Sorrow Blade Breaking Point Double Tyrant's monocles. So just interested to see some small nuanced differences between these Weapon Power builds on the carries.
Well, there's also Tornado Trigger. Sorry. There's also Tornado Trigger kind of making a little bit more of a popular showing here. We saw quite a few of it actually yesterday, 2.3. It's a big change to the way that the crits kind of work. So like you will see more tornado monocles rather than double monocles compared to the last patch, but bone saws as well. We've seen tension bows. We've seen a lot of success with these armor piercing coming kind of back into fashion.
Yeah, well, actually, there's a lot of math been done on the subject, and on a 3-item build, Tornado Trigger actually out DPS's Tyrant's Monocle in a Sorrow Blade Breaking Point situation. So a lot of math been done on that. You can go and check out various posts and articles, but also a lot of sort of, I guess, discussion was sparked about Bonesaw because of a video that one of the Japanese players posted on Twitter. It's been circulating. A lot of people have been seeing it. That in the late game, Bonesaw, even in a 3-item build, seems to trump even Tornado Trigger and Time of its Monocles. So lots of interesting math to be done with all of these build paths, and it's good to see the players shake things up from the previous patches. We are ready, by the way, to get into this next draft phase once Dowsey is in the lobby. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
I've restarted my game. I need an invite, boo.
Okay.
I've been spamming you.
Oh god, not that person. I've just invited the wrong person. You've been spamming me. Apologies, buddy. Definitely.
Once our host does
Not
his
that
duty,
person.
wink,
Feels
wink,
bad,
wink.
man.
Not that person. It feels bad, man. Sorry about that. And I'm gonna get rid of my incredibly red face because we're into the next draft phase here, and it is going to be For Justice 1-0 up in this series. It will be TH and Envy who have the first pick of this draft and first ban of this draft as well. We'll see if they choose to take Alpha off the board or leave it open for themselves.
That is the main question here. Their first pick, so if they want to play Alpha, they can, essentially. Looks like they might just go down a traditional route of banning down Lyra. It can expect a Fortress ban unless For Justice really don't want to play against the Alpha, then we may see that as well.
Yeah, Fortress or Adagio combined with the Lyra. Lyra is definitely, I think, trumping for the bans, but any pool of those three, like usually A side's very happy to pick up whoever's not picked out.
Yeah, no, I can see that as well. There's the Adagio, there's the Lance. Nothing too strange. Are they going to steal a composition here? That would be very interesting. Yeah, For Justice is stealing away the composition of TH Envy here.
Maybe. They need a rhyme if that's going to be so.
Well, yeah,
I'm
no,
confident
I doubt
that we'll
there was no
see that.
that would be strange, I think, if we did get a rhyme coming forward. Yep, there's going to be a Ringo locked in. Just looking for the jungler pick here, unless the Adagio fancies his luck. Would be very surprising, though. We saw rhyme in the previous game. I'm not sure you want to rhyme this game. Alpha's still available in this draft if Israel wanted to have a go themselves.
Yeah,
I
that
feel
is.
like.
Oh,
Go ahead.
apologies, buddy. That is still open, obviously. Petal is coming up, though, so it might make Alpha fairly difficult to play, at least early on, for Justice. But it's going to be the Ozo lock-in. Actually, Alpha ignored completely, and Ozo comes through for Justice. So Ringo, Adagio, Petal, the composition here for TH and Envy, and for Justice with the Kestrel, Ozo, and Lance. Those are definitely some interesting compositions, and as we head on to the Halcyon Fold, we'll actually allow now Forecourt to speak, because I'm gone. I'm gone, boys. See you later.
You know, this was a very Canadian exchange. We bump into each other. We both apologize. One of us makes an exit with apologies. And here we are, Dowsy.
Here we are. It's game 2 of this series between TH Envy and For Justice. Justice up 1-0. And the Ozo coming in. I believe this is the first competitive Ozo game I've seen in 2.3. I saw Suijay tweeting some opinions about it, saying that he thinks it's very strong right now, but no one has quite realized how strong it is or how to fit him into a composition yet. So perhaps just maybe For Justice have worked it out.
I hope you guys like Suijay, because he tweeted that he is actually now secured for the desk for the rest of VG8 this split.
Here we go, another fight. Yeah, I like Suijay, but I also like team fights. It's going to be For Justice looking for some aggression. They're falling back though, waiting for their cooldowns to reset. Alchizer though, they've not got the memo, is going to be extremely low. Can no longer look for an impale unless he wants to lose his life. That Treant, it goes the way of Israel. That's disastrous for For Justices. Now they're going to get aggressed onto Lambo, trying to lay down glimmer shots, but he's going to fall down. That's going to be first blood going on over as Ottomans tries to escape. Fosky's just chasing down the Lance. It's a bloodbath. Force Justice, their blood have been spilled, and Ottomans will fall down. Fosky is not able to quite find the kill onto Alchizer, but may do so now. That impale misses at 3-0. What a great start for THNV.
Yeah, I have to eat a little bit of crow on that one there, Mr. Dowsy, but no idea. Like, Alchizer's a very bloodthirsty guy. He loves to get down and dirty. He loves to really get these engages going as we finally get a kill in return. It's going to be the Petal dead on the floor, but that Lance Impale at the end of it, man, like, I think even we can all agree. I think even Chad can agree that that was a bad move.
Yeah, no, 100%. The Impale at the end was certainly, I think, For Justice, their idea was correct. I think that they had a fairly decent level 1 composition to make some plays. You know, the CC lock coming out from the Impale, certainly, but they didn't execute on their first attempt, and that's kind of when you just head back to your jungle and go, okay, well, we tried.
All right, so Lampo in lane, but it's Ottomans back into the jungle. As you can see, it's Alchizer on this Lance as that captain this time.
It is, and that's where we saw him yesterday. He's looking for an Impale onto Fosky's. Ottoman's just bouncing on around their place, and that's going to be Lampo with a return kill there. For Justice getting pretty intense. We're going to see a Iron Guard contract there for Alchizer, so can start healing up, but Lampo in a bit of trouble as Israel comes in, tries to lay down the damage. Fire burning, 1 kill, 2 kills, no! Doesn't go through, incredibly. I thought for sure Alchizer was dead. But yeah, 4-2 in favor of TH and Envy.
I know this has nothing to do with Alchizer, but like, he basically did a Superman leap, lived, threw down his lance, dusted off his hands, and went back to town. It's like, all in a day's work right there. So not a double kill for these guys, but still, I mean, Envy doing real good here early on. They're over 1,000 gold difference. They've put on the heat with the kills, and Fosky's on this Ringo. I gotta say, like, his last hits might not be the top notch, but at the same time, he has been there for 2 of those kills, and getting those kills not only on top of Israel, but as well as Fosky's, like, it's only assists for Israel. Like, again, like, this is just some really good start for Envy. Like, other than their 2 deaths, like, I don't think there's anything else you could do better.
And I would argue that Fosky's played a fairly good game in the previous matchup, so had way more CS than Lampo did. Apart from the fact that TH Envy were continuously behind, probably played as best as you could. Ottomans here is stealing away the doubles, pulls them around the corner as well, so that Israel doesn't know that he's still in the jungle. Pretty slick stuff. Just like, oh, okay, my doubles are gone. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, it feels bad, but it happens. That's Vainglory life. Israel's going to be coming up here lane. We don't have Dorcas there, but we're jumping in anyways.
Very interesting. Not entirely sure why, but okay.
To quote a Dowsy from yesterday, it's for the aggression. It's to push off the laner. It's all about
Oh
making
no,
him.
but it was then. This is just this is that like
Oh sure, backpedal. I get it.
Echo
That's fine.
Fox were doing that. They were like
Uh-huh.
playing a very deliberate like
Uh-huh.
lane play style. At
Uh-huh.
TH Envy, they're just kind of doing it at random.
I'm sure. All right, I see. So if your name isn't Echo Fox, you can't do it.
Certainly it seems that way.
First item's coming through. That's another infusion. Foskis did this last game. He picked up a level 4 infusion early on. This time it's level 5, and he's going to go use it, and he's going to get himself a kill.
Very strong play. One of the criticisms I hear from some of the North American pros is European players do not know how to use infusions to their advantage. Well, Foskis, look at this, looking for a second kill in this matchup, and it's going to go over. Israel able to secure Ottomans on the run. Foskis, maybe he's done his homework. Maybe he's like, you know what? I can get these infusions. I've just got a Sorrow Blade. It's a power spike in itself. Pair that with an infusion. Well, that's even more damage coming my way.
Oh yeah, well, it's somewhere between a double and a triple of his power, essentially, at this point. Like, it's not a very big infusion, like level 4, level 5. At level 5 infusion, it's obviously not nearly as strong as level 12, but at the same time, he did just finish his first big item, right? So he went from hitting from 2 tier 2s into a tier 3 in an infusion. Like, that's a huge power spike, and we don't have any armor this early on. Like, Owlchizer has a light armor. That is it.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, to put it simply, from Foskis, to increase your power spike substantially and then actually play aggressively as a team to force the kills coming over. That's really nice macro play coming out of THNB, showing that they understand their situation in this game very well. Lampo has got the Sorrow Blade to match. Foskis looking like he may go down a Tornado Trigger build, perhaps with this lucky coin in the inventory, but at the moment it's 6-2. It's a 2,000 gold lead for THNV. We haven't seen any objectives taken, but we're getting close to it, I feel.
All right, well, we'll have to keep an eye on if it's going to be into the Tyrus Monaco or that Tornado Trigger first, but Foskey is even going to be adding a little bit more red there to it as well. What's the rest of the team doing? Israel has his first item. He has that Frostburn ready to go. Fountain is online for Dorcas. If you were... I know we were talking a lot about things, and obviously by the end of it, we saw a very... Well, I'm still going to maintain it's very strange Adagio build, but Contraption first item after Fountain still seems to be the way that these captains are building. Both of them had Contraption as first items after Fountain last round.
Okay, so we'll have to see if they decide to go that way again. You can see some armor coming forward. You know, an Oak Heart on the there for Dorcas could be a Crucible coming forward, maybe just for some extra shielding, or the ability to reflex block for your opponent, your teammate. That's going to be Foskey's rooted, but the one-shot not really there. Here comes the accurate bounce. That's where you would want the reflex block. Foskey's taking a lot of damage, is healing with the Fountain, and is about to get away as well. Lives through it all, but another accurate bounce. Ataman's under the turret. He will get his mark, but can he get out alive? No, he won't. Oof. Goes down to the turret damage. Fountain not enough, and so a 1-for-1 trade as Israel dives forward, stops the recall as well from Lampo, just making sure that he doesn't get that. Outshizer, of course, will dive forward, but now is forced to go back based on the fact that Lampo wasn't there for some return damage.
Yeah, Lampo's just desperately trying to go home right now, but he's getting denied. Outshizer misses with the Impale. Actually might have been able to steal away that Treant, but it will go over the way of Envy, and they get the kill. They traded out 1-for-1. It is going to be the monocle there for Foskey's first, and we'll have to see if the trigger will come out after that, because some attack speed is sorely lacking here. But Dorcas is going to go to the Crucible, so that is... more what I've been trained as expected, but this whole patch, like even yesterday, both regions, so many contraptions first.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Saw it massively. Here comes another acro bounce, but this time he gets blocked up. Ottoman's diving forward, but he's going to go very low. He's burning away. Can he survive as he sustains with the fountain? Hellfire Brew coming on in. He has no reflex block. That's going to be him
he's
taking
already
even
used
more
it.
damage, but nice usage. It's up some fortified health with an acro bounce onto his teammates to try and block some of the damage coming forward. Here's a good route from Alchizer, but again, no return damage coming out of Lampo as TH Envy. They kind of just brush it off themselves. Ottoman's trying to get into the jungle to heal up, but there's nothing to heal up on. So for TH Envy, they could look to actually push down this turret a little bit, maybe even dive Lampo if they're feeling particularly aggressive. They're tanking up, the Munion's doing work. There it goes down, and Lampo in the wrong place, wrong time! Gonna be Foskies with another kill.
Yeah, it's not much of a dive when you kill out that turret. Lampo really having no business sitting there. Perhaps he thought that the active camo, like, he had enough weapon power to make the active camo happen, but he just picked up second item. But here's the return from For Justice.
Trying their best to find an aggressive kill, but it just doesn't work out for them. 2 versus 3, they might just get Israel. No, Fountain pretty much denies. Oh, one side that comes through from downtown will be allowed to find a return, but still, it's a 3-for-1 and a turret when you consider all things here for a TH and Envy.
No gold mine? Really? No gold miner? Like Foskies, you're right there. Okay, fine. It will still continue to just sit there at full power. And again, like the gold is starting to roll in very nicely here from Envy. They're picking up kills, quite a few kills. But they also picked up that turret, and that is about 3,000 or so between them. Dorcas had picked up that infusion a little bit ago. You see that level 7 ticking away at him. And Israel's now sitting at 2 offensive items on that pedal as well. Life is good for Envy, but it's not quite a cakewalk. Lampo himself just hit that second item for his Kestrel, so he's going to be not quite a rollover, but he's 11 minutes in. You'd expect just a little bit more, maybe perhaps an Aegis or 2.5 items. So he's definitely behind a little bit. And Ottoman's is feeling kind of like he had a good early showing, but it almost feels like he's starting to become a little bit more of a null issue at this point, right? With all those reflex blocks now, his bangerang is much harder to hit.
Right, reflex blocks on everyone, plus the Crucible there for this Captain. Dorcas, though, face-checking a bush, even though the flare's there, we're just trying to bait a fight more than anything, but Israel's going very low. Bangarang comes forward, good block with the Crucible. Ottomans has to escape. Will they be able to find this pedal, though? Just about gets out alive! Impale doesn't connect, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade onto the Ringo, onto the Ozo. Dorcas will walk away. For Justice, though, keeping their carry alive. They're going to look to try and take down this gold mine, and with the recalls coming forward, nothing for Justice can do about it. Or THNV even.
Lampo had an infusion for that fight. I really do feel like that was a big thing for him. So much damage to come out there, nearly netting the double on top of it. Foskies was the one falling behind in the infusion game that round, but he did now finish up that tornado trigger. So his 3 items are more or less complete at this point. He should probably look to finish up the Aegis, and then we'll see where he goes for the 4th. But a little bit of armor could go a long way, I feel, at this point.
We'll have to see if the teams agree. It's 13.5 minutes. And TH and Envy, they still have the gold lead for themselves. You know, 3,000 gold. It's not half bad. Gold miner for the side of For Justice definitely helped with bringing it back in a little bit. Within reaching a distance. We don't see the contraptions though this time. Both captains going into various defense items. The Atlas there for Alchizer. We see the Crucible now. The Oak coming forward as Dorcas gets even more health, possibly going towards that Slumbering Husk we saw in the previous game on Ottoman's Adagio. So perhaps this is 2.3 meta.
I'm not entirely too sure what's 2.3 meta yet, based upon the games yesterday. They're so different to today, but oh, that's a great Githian wall.
Yeah, it is, and that's going to be Ottomans diving straight on in. Foski's going very low, but the block onto the Bangarang once more. Dorcas trying to channel his verse. Will get it off, and Ottomans will fall. Foski's still alive. Here comes the return. Israel, though, all by himself, but here comes Foski's to help on out. A 2-for-1 trade. Help coming, but it will not find a kill. No way. And that's just going to be him falling low, but not dying in the end.
Again, difference in infusions really starting to show why the timings are so very important right there. Like Ottoman's had way more than enough time to go pick us up if they were looking for a fight. He had the cash, absolutely, and he's still not interested in infusing at this point. So they lose out the fight, they lose out the turret, and now Envy, they can just turn right back around. To picking up the gold miner is not a bad idea since the Kraken's about to remove it off the map. Just get every little bit of gold that you can. But Foskey's 3-item definitely trumped out up against Lampo right there. But Lampo has now come back to the fight with that 3rd item on top of things. So we'll have to see where things will go from here. There is a difference, though, between Dorcas and Owlchizer. You notice here, Mr. Dowsey? Owlchizer looks like he's building into a crown.
Yep, got the Storm Guard banner there. Whereas Dorcas, you know, got himself the War Treads. That's where the Dragon Heart was going. And so movement speed available for TH and Envy. Dorcas going to come straight into the middle, gets impaled up. That's a lot of damage going straight down onto Dorcas. He's going to have to try and sustain through it all. Here comes Foskey's getting bangerang.
Oh!
Down the Ozo before he even rolls on in. Israel in trouble, but Foskey's, he's just burning them for life. This gun just doing so much damage on the Ringo. A triple kill coming forward for Foskey's. The Sorrow Blade, Monocle, and Tornado Trigger just eating through the side of For Justice.
Whew, that was that my heart went out a little bit right there. I hope PETA wasn't watching because the monkey just went straight into the dirt, man. Like Ottoman's, yeah, he was dead on arrival on that one. Like he had that bangerang. They're like, all right, we can kill Dorcas, no problem, and they very nearly did. But oh god, that was painful.
Now this Kraken going to be going over. They got the Croak Point turret. Still won't come forward. Does hit Foskey's, but he's just going to heal it all up with the Kraken health buff, as well as stealing away some jungle camp so you can get his infusion re-ticking if necessary. Actually going to upgrade the boots a little bit as well. We got minion candy purchased up by Israel to buff up this wave that's fairly decently sized, but not as huge as many others. This is looking like TH and Envy want to finish things right here.
Okay, well, Ottoman's finally bought his infusion, spent all his cash, gets himself into a double Atlas situation for the team. We'll see if that's enough to turn the tides, because Foskey's is sitting at 9-3 and hitting so very hard, Dowsey.
He is absolutely going to be a Hellfire Brew to set things up. Lampo is the target, burning away. It's going to Israel going very low, but Ottoman's trying to bounce all over this Ringo. That's the Crucible going out. Israel taken on down. Maybe it was enough. Bangerang onto Foskey's, gets blocked up, but Foskey's in the impale. Burst of Judgment will hit, but it's blocked. And that's a 2 kills for Ottoman's, looking for the triple onto Dorcas, and he'll find it. They're going to find the ace for themselves, but this Kraken has found at least one main crystal turret.
Nah, it's only going to find one. It's not going to sustain through the other. And yeah, it's kind of hard to tell who actually gets the better of the trade on that one, because yeah, the turret goes down, but the Kraken forks over, and the ace just feels like it's much more diminished here. Like, yes, it's great to have those 3 kills. It's great to get those bounties if there are any. It's great to put your opponents in their place, but there's not really too much that these guys are going to get done with this here. So as it stands, back and forth, it's still going to be a gold lead here for Envy. Definitely a nice fight for For Justice. They're not out of this one yet. That triple now being served back as a triple for Ottomans, and you gotta wonder, you know, if we had that infusion just a few fights earlier, right? That big engage on top of Dorcas, could that have been different? Could we have actually, you know, had that time, gotten the Atlas a bit earlier? Could that have actually made a difference earlier? I just don't really know how to predict how this next fight's gonna go.
Well, we do have an Aegis finished for Lampo, the War Treads there for Owlchizer, so some fairly crucial items in the defense department, utility department for the side of For Justice. Israel got bursted down so quickly in the previous fight, which meant that the pedal didn't really get as much damage output. So if For Justice can land the CC like they did in the previous fight, well, they definitely will have a fighting chance at taking it. However, they haven't secured a single turret yet. And that is the massive difference between these two sides. TH and Envy, they have full objective control. Here's another fight. It's Israel locked down. The Bangerang, oh, it's not quite there. Lampo, though, is getting bursted by Foskey's, and that's going to be the first kill going over. Fountain will heal him. He's in the impale. Can he sustain? Ottomans goes down. What is this? Ringo just eating them alive once more as Owlchizer left all on his lonesome. The triple for Foskey's, and this should be GG.
So back and forth this game, but 10 extra kills by the end of it there. Israel looked like he was perhaps caught with that impale, but then they tried to shift focus on top of Foskey's. You saw Lampo hit the active camo, went right up against Foskey, said, okay, I can get these glimmers, and got off 2 glimmers before he would dead. Like that, you don't need no glimmer shots here for Foskey's. He just turns around, shoots you in the face with the twirling silver, and he was 4-item red at the end of all things, like the double monocle with the tornadoes. So that's a very high crit rate. Took down the competition right there, and back and forth. We got ourselves a game 3, and just such interesting builds, such interesting team fights from these guys. I might, if you do come back into this one and you're trying to do the review, maybe a Catherine actually would have went better with the monkey here, because the impales just didn't really seem to do the peel, right? Like they had the impales, had to get them, but if you had that hard stun, if you had that silence, that multiple AoE silence right there, that might set yourself up a little bit better there for Ozo, because yeah, he absolutely did become a null factor by the end of it, even with double Atlas. And there was a few times that the Atlas actually did hit. It didn't really like make the big mark that you needed to. The last fight where the Ottomans got the triple kill, that was because both Atlases actually did go back to back on top of the Ringo, and that worked out great, triple kill. But there was also a Kraken pushing, right? So I'm not entirely too sure they were two-phased, and as you saw after the team fight after that, they were just able to just focus down way better than For Justice was.
It wouldn't be an Scoundrel stream without muting my microphone.
You were muted this whole time?
I have to make my comeback somehow, Forco. I have to make my comeback somehow. But what I was saying before I muted myself, what I was saying was, I think that these weapon power build paths have been really interesting. That the way that Ringo chose to build with the Tyrant's Monocle second, relying on his twirling silver for the attack speed, really put a pressure on Ozo in the mid game, which is where Ozo is strong. Ozo is very, very good from the mid game. With the way that Ringo built, although as the game scaled up and more armor went up against him, he was going to be less and less effective. He became more and more effective in the mid game where Ozo shined, and that kind of shut down, I think, For Justice very easily. And Dalsy, you had a point about Eve of Harvest as well.
Right, it's kind of in line with what you're saying, is that, usually you kind of see an Eve of Harvest come forward just to increase the self-sustain that Ottomans can be getting with the fortified health, makes things extremely difficult for the opposing team to really deal with Ozo. But because of how hard TH and Envy were able to shut down For Justice in the early game, force the defensive trees coming out of the Ozo very early on, build into the Atlas, build into the Aegis very, very early, it meant that we never got to see an Eve of Harvest on the Ozo, and that could have potentially been the sustain needed throughout those fights.
That's interesting. A lot of Ozos actually end up just going after Shock Broken Myth, a little bit like Alpha. They kind of just sit on those 2 items and then go full defense. But I think because Ozo didn't manage to get ahead, and what Ozo is so good at doing is getting ahead. I think the problem that they had specifically there was that he kind of got shut down in the early game, shut down in the mid game. He dove a little bit too far, and essentially they were able to just then use that Ringo build to put pressure on him. I think if he'd been ahead and done what Ozo had done, and maybe not stopped tower diving by himself, they might have been able to get to that 2-item spike, which is the Aftershock Broken Myth, and then built up enough defense to deal with this critical strike Ringo, but unfortunately, they did not. We are into the next draft phase, by the way. It's 1-1 apiece, and we'll be getting a Fortress this game as both Lyra and Adagio are banned.
Yep,
Well,
that's
it's
gonna
that
be-
party of three, Dowsy. It's that party of three, Scoundrel, because Lyra, Adagio, Fortress, whoever doesn't get struck down is always first pick, it seems.
Yeah, and now it's going to be the Lance most likely locked in for TH and NV, as that's generally what you go for when you don't get one of those three, the Lyra, Fortress, or Adagio. Are we going to see the return of Alpha? Yes, we are, but this time it's TH and NV who are going to be bringing it to the fold.
Okay, all right. Return of the Alpha had a 0% win rate yesterday, has 100% today. Yeah, that sounds good, Dowsy.
Yeah, why not? Why not show it up here? This is a game that's so crucial. Arona, though, locked in. This is going to be a very aggressive competition. Will they actually play Celeste? Holy moly, if they play Celeste, that's going to be amazeballs. Okay, yeah, cool, let's do it.
So the question is this lane Celeste or jungle Celeste, Scoundrel?
Oh, I think with the Fortress here and the Rona, obviously you can see lane Rona. It really depends what the matchup's going to be like, I think. But into a Vox, I don't think Celeste has the worst matchup in the world, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see lane Celeste go out here. But what's more interesting to me is that obviously Fortress picked up in the captain role here, in the roam position, whereas we've seen a lot of success with Fortress in the jungle, and actually they're going to be running Ottomans on this Rona, and this is really sort of an all-in composition, but you have the backup of the late game of a Celeste. But the problem is that with the Lance and Alpha, I don't know how much peel there's going to be for Celeste, and I don't know, I really don't know if in the late game, if you're trying to go all in with this Rona and Fortress, if you just get ignored and Lance just kind of bats you out the way and then Alpha gets on the Celeste, how are you going to protect this Celeste? It could be difficult. And with that note, I'll let you guys ponder on it. It is time to hand it over to you two beautiful gentlemen to take it away in this game.
This is the decider. This is the equalizer, 1-for-1, a best of 3. Winner progresses deeper into the Challenger Series. Loser does get the second chance in the losers bracket, so their hopes and dreams not quite dashed yet, but a very important matchup nonetheless.
So there is a good chance that Lampo on this Celeste, like he's just going to have to really rely on his core collapse. It's going to be very obvious, and there's nothing here to actually stun Celeste. Okay, well, maybe a silence from the Vox, but a good core collapse can really just stop up Envy's engage.
Yeah, and we criticize, well, maybe not criticize, but make note of Alchai's aggressiveness on a Fortress. That's the only thing you can be, is aggressive.
I enjoy his aggressiveness. That's the word I'd use.
Yeah, 100%. Well, a highlight, is what I meant by the fact that it is just continuous constant aggression from Alchai. He doesn't really lift it at all. Israel, though, coming up to the lane, it's going to be way before we see Arona, but the proc directive doesn't connect, so it's all done.
Just a little bit off the mark right there. No big bloodthirsty starts here. No invades. There's no 3-man roams. Everybody just kind of went off to their own battle stations, and they're just working their way through the farm at this point. So with Lampo on this Celeste, level 1 Celeste, not really the biggest of deals, but level 2, when you get that core collapse, that's when you can really just stop up somebody. And again, I'm really going to be keeping an eye on top of Lampo and these core collapses, see how they deal with this engage comp.
100%. It's going to be pretty important because, as you say, there is a lot of engage on TH and NV that needs to be thwarted. But then, I guess, maybe the way you disengage an engage comp is you use attack of the pack, force them to disengage the wolves, or you kind of get a bit of an advantage.
Okay, so a little bit more of a babysit here in lane. We talked a little bit about the Fortress. We have seen the Jungle Fortress yesterday. Also had the Captain Fortress, and it does very well for itself in terms of aggression. But by the time you come to late game, if you haven't built up any kind of big advantage to it, like if you're going even with a very defensive captain, then engaging kind of has to become the art of the win at that point, because if you don't get a good engage off with that Fortress, or if you're the one being engaged upon, like you're just not going to have those similar capabilities. If you have a Finn, if you have a Catherine and Arden, Lance arguably, because he has that Githian wall, so, and the Impale, like that's at least some kind of appeal. But for Justice, I feel like with this Rona, with this Fortress, I want to see them do something in the jungle earlier rather than later.
what like look to invade, look to
Yeah, look
try
to
and
invade.
pressure
It's
down
just
Israel?
alpha, right? It's just alpha. Even if the lance comes down, right, your Celeste might be able to follow that through. But 2v1 with this alpha, you're going to have the gap closers, not only with Alchizer, but with Ottomans there as well. He doesn't have to rely on top of any kind of energy. It's just his rage that he builds. And he can, I really feel like earlier on, is especially with the Crystal Alpha, that's when she's weakest.
Yeah, no, I can see that as well. So it would be nice to have a bit of aggression, but currently Ottomans just seems to be very content farming up his jungle. Hasn't even gone back to shop yet, neither has Israel though. So, you know, both these junglers sitting on their double crystal bits, double, you know, swords as well. So, yeah, weapon blades, not really a much damage, but we will have the jungle shop spawning in 10 seconds, so we can see some damage items come out of them very shortly.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's
Ottomans has the position here. If Israel gets run into, okay, they're sending Dorcas with Israel, so Ottomans will spot them coming in, but at the same time, they won't necessarily be able to go for the kill.
Well, there's first items. I mean, Dorcas has been up in that lane pretty consistently, so a lot of ambient gold going over to him. He picks up that fountain. We have immediately again here that's Aftershock. So no Storm Crowns today for any of our jungles. It's going to be more the same here from Ottomans as well. He has a little bit of cash, but he's going to be going into that Serpent's Mask, and he's not that far from it, but he will be just a bit behind that power spike, because we already have it here from Israel.
Yes, no, it is this Aftershock like you mentioned. Ottoman's going towards the Serpent's Mask, but hasn't quite got the gold just yet. We'll have so very shortly. And no aggression, both these teams. Well, they've been so aggressive, so back and forth in both our series here for, you know, early kills going forward so many times. But right now, they're playing very, very passively. It's almost like someone flipped a switch and we get to see the calm and collected for Justice and TH and Envy.
There we go. Ottomans is now picked up into his first tier 3. Lampo desperately needs to go shopping. At the same time, Foskis, he's going to be looking to finish up. Sorrowblade. So Sorrowblade Vox first. Could be Sorrowblade into the breaking point, or could be Sorrowblade into Tornado Trigger, but I would definitely expect to see some attack speed coming out next.
Right, absolutely. It's what we tend to expect. Perhaps going towards a Bonesaw, perhaps going towards a breaking point. You know, Scoundrel was saying that currently it seems to be that one of the most effective builds is a Sorrowblade into breaking point into Bonesaw. However, Vox has always been a bit of an outliner liar when it comes to build paths and weapon power carries. So very interested to see where we end up at the end of this match.
All right, so 6 minutes in, game 3, 0-0. Alchizer has been uncharacteristically passive.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. And, well, he has to be careful because here comes Israel. Prime Directive, though, will not land. Second Prime Directive not to land as well. Israel, 0 for 0 on those, or 0 for 2 even. So, I don't know. Maybe this alpha pick for him, not as practiced as we saw from Alchizer earlier.
Ottomans went into the backs looking for some pickup, but unfortunately gets denied. Did not have the timing.
Bit of a fight going on as Foskis takes a bit of damage, blocks up the core collapse. This time we get the Prime Directive. That's first blood for the Alpha. Israel will be able to find it. Now Alchizer diving in, maybe maybe a little bit too aggressive, but I guess he felt the cooldowns weren't there, and well, this time he was right. Here's the Prime Directive. Okay, misses a turret. That's something else.
Turrets have dodge. They have like 30% dodge chance.
Nice to meet you, my friend.
I mean, it just doesn't.
Ottomans. It's, yeah, that is weird to say the least. Ottomans wants this though. He's going aggressive onto Israel. We've got the Celeste coming back into the fight, and they're going to force the termination protocol. Israel felt like he was going to die there, and so wanted to reboot into a second life.
He is a computer. He's allowed to do that. So, okay, one kill. It was a pretty brutal kill there. Like Lampo, they put a lot of eggs into the killing the Vox basket, and unfortunately had a reflex block this early on. So not only did we go into the offensive item of Sorrowblade, so Foskis has a lot of upfront power, but that reflex block saved his life, and that's what actually killed out Lampo, because they were just so far forward, so long looking for the kill. then he gets the core collapse reflex blocked on top of him there. It was also a very brutal kill because he hit the boots just as he died, so he flung real hard into that wall. That also means that Lampo doesn't have boots for another 60 seconds, and it didn't save his life. So, I mean, we got a lot out of that little engage right there from Envy.
And really, this last pick Vox coming forward here for TH and Envy is very well considered. Considering they're up against a fortress, they need to clear the attack of the pack wolves with auto attacks, and the ability to kind of dodge away from fights like we're seeing right now just makes things so easy. Ottoman's not going to be knocked under the turret, but unfortunately onto Foskies as well. Does get the fountain, does have the heals and the reflex block to block out some damage. That's going to be Alchizer against the wall as Israel decides to focus in onto Lampo. Alchizer, not much really he can do here apart from try to run away, but trying won't go anywhere. What was that? A snipe from Lampo?
Yeah.
Nice stuff to get one back for the team.
Okay, well, a few things. First, I really don't think a direct engage is really up our alley here from For Justice. Like that this early on with this level of damage, like the Rona just was not able to get into the back. Alchizer, yeah, he's a captain. He has a lot of tools here for the team, but unfortunately the tools just didn't really get the job done. Lampo luckily gets a snipe with that Solar Storm, and that's how they're able to get that kill back. But they're going to have to kind of rethink about a direct dive like this. They're probably going to have to look for something a little bit more jungle-oriented, a little bit more gank-oriented, because that was just a very vast difference of how that fight was handled between For Justice and Envy.
Yeah, no, it certainly was, and it's showing good for TH and Envy that they have the ability to kind of control the Rona, control the fortress. Obviously the snipe with the Solar Storm, something else, but if fights continue to go like that, then that kind of just shows that TH and Envy, their composition, it seems to be working. They can kite back the Rona and make her slightly obsolete.
Now, we do have that Atlas after the fountain. There's no contraptions here this time on these captains, but Dorcas did actually pick up an infusion. So a little bit more cooldown reduction to go his way. If he's not going to be building into this contraption for that 40%, well, he's going to try to get whatever he can from this infusion.
Foski's showing a lot of respect to Lampo, and I guess you could say Alchizer as well on the fortress, building into an Aegis very early. He's got the tier 1 shielding, has the breaking point, going to go back to base now, and possibly pick up even more shielding. No, going to be upgrading the boots there instead, but it's very respectful of the fact that Lampo's damage can really affect him from range, and the minefields of Heliogenesis set up, well, that's the thing that he's most worried about.
Okay, 4 kills in 11 minutes. That's a lot of scout traps Alchizer just threw into his inventory right there. But Crucible's going to be up his alley here soon enough. I think a Crucible with the threat of that silence from Foskies is definitely going to be very useful here. Lampo does not have a reflex block, right? If you are going to be going into this pure blue, that's so far Lampo is kind of sitting on here with his 2 items, then yeah, that Crucible is going to be very important to block out a silence.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Alchizer can do with it. If the fingers are quick enough for him, as it looks like TH and Envy, they're going to herd up back to the lane. Fosty's getting a little bit aggressed upon, but it's this broken myth for Israel starting to stack up. The damage is there as they're disengaging these wolves. Foski's in a bit of trouble, but they're going to dive back in. This broken myth, though, doing work, and that's the first kill going their way. Looking for a second onto Alchizer will go down. The Alpha put into the termination protocol, Solar Storm to try and chunk her down, but she just recharges just in time. Lampo now has almost no energy, and the aggression going to come forward once more. He gets rooted, knocked, and that's death. An ace for TH and Envy. Their composition just doing so much to counter what For Justice want to do.
That was so much damage invested into killing out against Ezreal, and he still got back up at the end of it all. 3 for 1 by the time everything is said and done, because it was actually Ezreal tanking out the turret, and the turret gets the last laugh in that one. But both kills for Justice has been way after the fact and kind of just a little bit more luck based here rather than actually like executing their comp. And that's very worrisome here for Justice, because Envy at this point have accrued not only a 2,000 gold lead, but they've started to work on some of these objectives, and every fight has been just really well executed for them. Like the Rona just can't stick to these guys. Alchizer can, but he doesn't have the damage, and Lampo, he has to keep a healthy distance between them, right? So there's a little bit of a problem when it comes to these these engages in the lane.
100%, and you can see that's exactly why Foskies is opting in to go towards this Bonesaw next item, because realistically the only target he needs to auto-attack to begin the fight off is Ottomans, and so if you can have that Sorrow Blade, the Breaking Point, and the Bonesaw at level 12, when, you know, when people are level 12 and they have tier 2 armor, well, that's when the Bonesaw is the most effective, and Foski is likely to be able to just auto-attack one target for the entire fight until they're dead, considering Lampo is going to be so far backwards. So TH and Envy, not only is their composition drafted to try and kite back this Corona, kite back this this fortress, well, it's also to actually do the damage as well. Another fight, and Ottoman's diving straight onto Foskies. There's the silence, but Foskies may have just be a little bit too low. No, gets bursted down by the Alpha. A minefield to walk forward through Israel, going to go very low. Termination Protocol to buy some shielding. Oh, that Prime Directive, if hit, would have been so much damage bursted, but it doesn't connect in the end. A 1 for none in the end, as For Justice is going to get aggressed on a little bit even further, but Foskies is nowhere near. So this is a 2 versus 2 for Justice. TH and Envy need to back away here. For Justice realize that Foskies isn't in the fight. Lampo, though, can he find the kill? One more. There it is. Now Israel in trouble. Where has Foskies been this whole time?
He went home.
Question.
Yeah, he was low. He had like 1 bar of health left, and they had no fountain at all. So he did actually head on home. But now Foskies is going to find right into Ottomans. But are they going to engage this? They got Chiser here.
And they don't have Dorcas is the main thing, you know, they don't have the heals, they don't have the sustain, they don't have any support coming forward. That's going to be Israel losing his life, but Foskies wants to go further, trying to stack up on top of them. He's going to start losing his Breaking Point stacks as everyone disengages. Aggression from TH and Envy, you know, their composition has worked so well here for Court when they're the ones kiting backwards, but now we see them try and get a bit aggressive, and actually they give up kills to For Justice.
Yeah, and the giving up the kills, like I can't really blame Foskies for going home, because like they had gotten their fight and he had gone home and he was being safe, but the rest of the team didn't get that memo.
Going home is one thing, but going home via all the camps is what Foskies did. You know, he did a pit stop and took as many jungle camps on his way home. So, you know, recalling base, heal up, then walk out. Obviously, he's trying to build up for the next item with gold-wise, but like you say, the team didn't get the memo. They didn't realize, or it wasn't communicated, that Foskies would not be joining them for an engage for quite a period of time because he was prioritizing farm over fighting.
Yeah, and again, like they really needed a little bit more communication on that one. So we give up a few kills there from Envy, but it's still 3,000 gold to their advantage. 16 minutes in, Foski's now 3 offensive, has that Aegis ready to roll, and yeah, he's likely to go into another red. Like that's just what the story of the day here for these carries. But more infusions and another fight.
Yeah, it's going to be Alchizer locked down as he tries to jump onto Foskies, but this Vox just don't care what you got to say. So they're going to clear out these wolves here. Bit of a minefield is being set up. It means that TH and Envy have to be a little bit cautious about their chase potential if they were to chase. Alchizer goes back to base. Ottoman's just currently sitting on the other side of a wall here, looking for a bit of a flank onto the back lines. And, well, they see Lampo all by himself. The reflex block going to block things up. Silence is there. Alchizer does block it onto himself. Israel in the middle of things as Foskies is at the back line. That's going to be huge damage from the Alpha. Explosion blowing up. And the kill onto Alchizer. And the kill on
he got up
this Rona as well. Lampo rotated. That's the ace coming forward. A double kill for Foskies, and TH and Envy make it look clean.
All right, so that show's going to explode, but with Foski still at the helm there and those ace buff minions, like, there's going to be another wave? Yeah, no. There's going to be one little guy. Okay, so that's it for the tower pushes. You see the one? Okay.
I gotta get it, guys!
I'm late. He's the Mad Hatter. Yeah. Well, the bunny, I guess, whatever. Alice in Wonderland. Woo! 10-4. For the score here, Mr. Dowsley. 17 minutes in, and a nice set of kills leads into a Kraken, leads into that tower on top of things, and that is all of a sudden 5,000 gold between the teams. Israel might not have had the best of luck this game with his prime directives, but he gets up every time he goes down.
He does. He's not in the fight just yet, so a chance, but here he comes, and this can just be turned as this Vox, he's slowed down by the Atlas. It is actually having a bit of an impact onto the damage as Israel is going to be forced into a prime directive. He's looking for Lampo. Lampo will be able to dodge away from the damage, but he gets taken down by Foskies. 2 kills and a triple. The Vox online, ridiculous things, full breaking point stacks at the end of it, and ace in the Kraken hitting the choke point.
And that's, by all rights, should be game, Mr. Downsy. Like, that's a full health Kraken. We still have 2 little minions. Look at him getting in on the action right there. And that will be Envy putting For Justice down into the lower bracket.
Very nice stuff from TH and Envy. They come in here, they felt like they could improve their gameplay coming in to the second split of VGL, and well, they've just knocked down a legendary legacy team here into the lower bracket. For Justice will move down into that losers bracket, but for TH and Envy, they continue, Scoundrel.
They do indeed. Absolutely fantastic set of games from these guys, and we are obviously very happy that they've come through. They performed so well in the first split. They unfortunately got knocked just at the last moment. Didn't manage to make it to those challenge battles, didn't quite make it into the position that they would have wanted to in the playoff brackets, but you know, they've come and beaten For Justice, a team who just last year, you know, almost 1 year ago today, were at the Spring Live Championships, I believe. They were a team that actually made it to the very top flight to a live championship for Vainglory. And unfortunately, you know, now they're finding themselves kind of struggling in the Challenger Series. So a little bit of a fall from grace from these guys, but, you know, they're still in it. They're in the loser bracket. They can still find their way through to that playoff bracket and, again, find that position in the top flight of Vainglory that they've had before. But what a great game from TH and Envy. They looked absolutely fantastic forecourt.
Yeah, Envy was a good watch. Very, very surprising, kind of the level of play that we got to see continuously. It's not like there was just some good plays and bad plays. There was some pretty consistently just good plays throughout the whole game series. I mean, yeah, it went to all the way to 3 games, but I really feel that those last 2 games from Envy were just very, very top notch.
Yeah, they really were. Now, we're going to cut to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we get back, we are going to have a game between Team Queso and Make EU Great Again. So, we'll be back in 3 minutes. I'll get the lobby set up. We'll be ready and raring to go. This is going to be a good one.
Shadows fall over my heart. I black out the moon. I wait for you to come around. You got me dancing in the dark. I've closed my eyes, but I won't sleep tonight. Baby, you should come with me. I'll take you to the dark side. Me and you and me, do bad things in the nighttime. Baby, you should come with me, and we can kill the lights, hit the lights, let it black out, hit the lights, let it black out. Blackbird, black moon, black sky, black light, black everything, black heart, black keys, black diamonds, black out, black everything, black everything, all black, everything, all black, everything, all black, everything, black. In a nocturnal state of mind, children of the night, but it's the only way of life. It's black holes pulling me inside of this black heart, the black soul underneath this black sky. Baby, you should come with me. I'll take you to the dark side. Me and you and me, do bad things in the nighttime. Baby, you should come with me, and we can kill the lights, hit the lights, let it black out, hit the lights, let it black out. Blackbird,
Welcome back, everybody, to the Vainglory League Spring Split 2, Day 2, and we're on to our second match of the day. Sorry I debated you with the timer, Twitch chat, but unfortunately just wanted to make sure teams are ready. I didn't want to bring it back a little bit early, and unfortunately didn't have everyone in lobby. But we do now have everybody in lobby, and we are ready and raring to go. This is Team Queso versus Make EU Great Again. So a new team formed of actually one of our admins, I believe, I'm going to have a problem saying this. I think it's Kgasa. I'm going to say Kgasa. Anyway, Dalcy and Forecourt Jester are here with me, and we are going to jump straight into the draft phase to make sure that we aren't hanging around too much, as I know you guys want to see the action as much as we do. So once we're in, we will jump in, and Dalcy and Forecourt can join me in bringing you all of the action of this match.
This is quite an exciting series as well, because Team Queso, they came in the last season and they made a fairly deep run, but they weren't able to quite find the success that they were hoping for. You know, a very new organization built up around, you know, a Spanish influencer, I believe, has, you know, created his own esports brand. And, you know, it's now time to see, can these, you know, Spaniards come in, or will EU outclass them? Can make EU great again? There's some fun interactions we can have this one. But both these two teams, like, certainly have a lot going for them.
Can Spain, inside the European Union, make EU better than EU? Oh, I don't know.
We'll have to find out. Hype. It's going to be Fortress Adagio banned. I expect a Lyra to come through here, but maybe Team Queso have something else up their sleeves.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Queso's definitely been a team that's been around Challenger for a while, but at the same time, make EU great again. Like, who just doesn't love the megas? Because that's what they are. They're bringing mega hype, mega plays, and we'll have to see if they can move on to next week in the winners bracket there as well. But this is a little bit of a break of a different draft, guys. That's Lyra getting first picked on B side, making it through the bans, but it was a Lance preference from Queso.
Says that they have a lot of priority on that Lance. You know, certainly a great playmaking captain. Usually we see it though on the B side, just because Lyra has so much priority put onto her. A Black Feather coming forward here from Omega. No surprise, they were super fond of these kind of compositions yesterday. Have to see what Team Queso will be drafting to try and counter it. Vox makes sense for the ability to kite backwards. A Sky, ooh, I know you have opinions on this.
Yeah. It just the weapon. I liked the weapon, but the crystal. I don't know about crystal in this meta right now. It's just so easy to defeat. Like
Yeah.
pedal. Is there a pedal somewhere around here?
Hmm. Well, we don't know if the Black Feather's going into the jungle or the lane just yet, so... And
Give
we
it you
don't
could force
know...
it. No, it's gonna be Kestrel.
Okay.
Still don't know actually who's going to lane.
We'll have to find out. Leno going to obviously take the Lyra, but it could go anywhere here, Scoundrel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think likely going to see Lyra in the roam position, obviously, and I think we'll see Blackfeather in potentially the lane, and might even see CP Kestrel coming out from the jungle here, just to have that range advantage over the Sky, be able to answer the poke of the forward barrage. That may be the sort of the lineup I'm looking. But both CP Blackfeather and CP Kestrel have got great poke, so we'll have to see how this transpires. Again, Sky coming through, not something that we see huge amounts of these days. She was really strong when... you know, sort of the meta was being defined by people who just kind of ran at you, and Catherine was kind of being played a lot. That's where CP Sky was seeing a lot of her play. But it's time to hand it over to you two gentlemen. I know you ran us through the draft, but now it's time to run us through the game. Dowsey and Forecourt, take it away.
We'll have to see which team can run it through as well. It's a big matchup for both these guys, both in this winners bracket, want to continue through the easier life, the high road for themselves. Looks like we are going to see PMX Plus take that Kestrel into the jungle CP, and a Dark Ghost clearly going to be taking her Sky towards the jungle CP as well.
No double weapon, no CP Vox. It is going to be the weapon Vox we've all come to know and love with that Crystal Sky. And as he did just mention now, you know, Kigaza up here in lane, and he's all in lane by himself. Vox taking a little bit more of a trip through the jungle to pick up some of that ambient gold. Dark Ghost was all protected here by PRZ. And yeah, there's no invade at all. So Queso doing all right. Megas at the same time, just kind of going through their same the same motions. And here comes Zeleno with PMX right up against Amano.
Yeah, a lot of aggression straight onto Amano, as you say here. Just trying to put the Vox under the turret, try and make sure Kigaza on this Black Feather has the easiest road possible. But we're seeing Queso come straight into the jungle here, try and put some pressure onto PMX Plus. He doesn't have his active camo. He's about to get spotted, rooted on down. Great timing, and that's first blood going Queso.
Root into root and a steal. Wow.
Now we're going to see Kigaza come down here, but what can they do? It's, you know, going to be a 2 versus 2 for now, but we have this Vox making their way down. They need to find the damage before the Vox comes here. Dark Ghost kiting forward. Barrage just does so much. Giffian's wall and another kill. Amano comes forward for
no
the
PMX.
Ace. We're not an Ace, a 3 kills. PMX Plus this time does have active camo. No, he's gone 2 glimmer shots. I kind of like it from PMX Plus, just trying to find the extra damage on the glimmer shot ability, try and tear on through. Has to be careful though. Yes, everyone is low, but an impale could just spell his doom. No way to escape. Continuing to chase forward. Team Queso though just gonna make their way back towards their jungle.
That was a mint Githian right there, let me tell you. That Githian wall, just to make sure that there was absolutely no chance at a steal. Mega not expecting that. Unfortunately, PMX just kind of caught out in the jungle, did not expect that invade, got hit by the root by the Tran, rooted up by Lance, had the farm stolen by the Dark Ghost, which then was able to feed them into a 3-kill streak, and even got another Tran on the way out. So pretty big plays coming out from Queso, because this early on, that puts him somewhere in the 1,500 to 2,000 gold range. We're going to have to wait for the waves to catch up, since we are doing some pretty hefty zoning here from Mega. But man, that's putting him real behind early.
Yeah, you just look at the gold difference. Dark Ghost is sitting on 2 crystal bits, going to find another kill here. And, you know, PMX Plus, he only has the boots 2 crystal pits. That's 700 gold plus 300, which means that Dark Ghost actually has a solid 1,000 gold over the Kestrel right now, and you can just see how much this will make a difference as this game goes on. Right now it's just purely level advantages, purely aggressive plays from Queso getting them leads, but Dark Ghost, he can go back to base. First buy, 1,300 gold in the inventory, and that's another kill going over. Okay, Amano does end up losing his life as my camera decides to zoom in the most peculiar way. But 4-1 at this point. Frostburn at 3.5 minutes. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good.
Uh-oh. Now you got me zooming in on the wrong way. Is there no default button to go back?
No, there isn't. It's
Damn it,
Tell me
Dazzy.
I
How
struggle
could
with
you?
Trying to
All
match
right.
the stream here, just looking at it, seeing what the default camera angle is.
All right, well, I'm gonna be tilted. Like literally, my camera's tilted. 4-1 though. Yeah, that is finally a kill going over to the Mega, and that was a 2v1 up in lane. The Kestrel up against this comp, you might not expect the Kestrel to have too much trouble with this, but if you can't see it coming, you're not really gonna have the tools to deal with a 2v1, and that's something that Zeleno has to really focus. Do you go into the lane, you get that ambient gold, you make sure that the laner's having a good time, or do you protect the jungle? Because Kestrel early on, especially with that Crystal, if she's the one to get aggressed upon, there's not very many tools in the bank really to do anything about this, right? And as we've seen, she's now gone down twice in the span of 4 minutes.
Yeah, and perhaps CP Sky hasn't found much success so far in our Challenger Series experience. Forecourt. However, when you get such an early advantage through just some great rotational play, understanding that you're stronger than your opponents in your current state, well, that just can put you further ahead. Now, the thing that I want to see Queso do is continue to press the advantage, not let up any of the pressure, because, yeah, they have a 2,000 gold lead, but they need to maintain it, and they need to make it more.
4-1, and that's the first item for Kigaza. No lifesteal to come out with the Serpent's Mask. It's going to be lifesteal with a Poison Shiv instead. So I know we have fountains and all that, but it doesn't really feel like that should be the first item here.
Perhaps it is just purely for the fountain. Yeah, I think you're probably on the right track. Serpent's Mask seems like it would be a more effective item, but Mega, I guess they're considering that they can. Oh, it's Amano's got a Serpent's Mask. That's why. He went down the Book of Eulogies path, and so Kigaza saw that and said, "I'm just going to cut down your healing. Yes, this is a new build. Yes, this is getting popularized, but if I can just cut your healing down, it makes it nil, and the damage output of the box will be far less."
Well, the damage output doesn't change.
Well, no,
Not
it does because he's gone down a Serpent's Mask build.
Okay, so
He
all right.
sacrificed damage, but
My all right. I inferred from that the Poison Shiv was somehow reducing his damage. Like I'm pretty sure that's not how that works, Dazzy. But no, with Amano not going into a sword blade, you're right. So his damage will be lower, but his sustain will be higher. I still don't really feel that warrants a Poison Shiv first item though from Kigaza. Call me a little bit more old-fashioned, but I would much rather see Kigaza like just stay on top of Dark Ghost, for example, and not deal with Amano. But we'll have to see how it all plays out.
yeah, we will. Currently, nothing really to talk too much about. Team Queso
How
are
dare
starting
you?
to
There's
group up a
tons
little
to
bit.
talk about.
Well, I mean, like, as far as action is concerned, right now, teams are grouping up. PRZ will land a route onto Kigaza, but it's a Black Feather. He can dip and dive. PMX Plus in a bit of trouble as he dupes away. Kigaza does get the heal from the fountain, but the damage is certainly there, as Mega is just not able to find anything. If Kigaza is the one caught, it almost means that they can't dish damage. Well, PMX Plus is caught as well. They don't have damage. Great route as well into Kigaza. Predicts the movements. Kigaza trying to land damage back onto PRZ. The heal there just about keeps him alive. But Queso now likely to be able to take the turret. They have Death from Above coming up in just a couple of seconds if need be. They won't go for it. One shot lands onto PRZ. Can Kigaza get the snipe? No. They're going to try and charge forward with this stealthed up Kestrel, but she gets swatted out. And now she's getting eaten on up. Scout Traps OP. Vision OP. The kills come forward. Kigaza will go down as well as Dark Ghost look to chase down Z Leno forward barrage connecting, but the Lyra has got far enough out of reach. A almost 3,500 gold lead so far for Queso. They are showing up.
Jeez. Man, this all right, Calvary's here, boys, and nope, gets the horse shot in the field. My goodness, that was quite the turnaround there by Dark Ghost to make it happen. PRZ though, I'm not entirely too sure we were really looking for the fountain at that point because the Megas really did engage hard. PRZ was down low. He was obviously who they were gunning for, but he still had that fountain in his inventory, and I feel like they didn't know that. So when he popped it out, that was basically like the signal was like, GG right there. And this is not good. Like Megas have dropped not only their early lead, but now they have lost out on top of their turret, and they've dropped another few kills. It makes it 3,000 gold between these guys, and that's 2 items now on Amano. PRZ has gone into that Atlas on top of things as well. And we're actually looking pretty close to a 2-item spike here from Dark Ghost. Like, this is becoming pretty dire for the mid game.
Yeah, certainly. And, you know, I guess the point about can we cut down the healing coming out of the Serpent's Passport box is great and all, but you mentioned already, let's just jump onto Dark Ghost. He's the one doing the damage, and perhaps you can't even jump onto Dark Ghost. The Sky with the forward barrage, if you try and charge forward, will just do so much damage back on top of you.
But with Kigazu, you have a lot of block available. You have a lot of mobility. You got the on point for the trades. Like there's a lot of tools I feel to deal with this, but it has to be a team effort. It's not like we can just bring this down to a 1v1 level because that's just not how this game's going to work.
Well, so currently Infusions coming out level 8 for Amano here as the Queso team rounds on into the lane, looking for an engage, looking for some damage. The forward barrage onto K-Gaza, just doing work, eating on forward, and there's the one shot gonna land, but it just does not matter. K-Gaza's going low, K-Gaza blocking up, but he goes down in the end. PMX Plus trying to, oh no! Portal charges him into the middle of the fight! I had this happen to me yesterday. It's the most tilting experience when your Lyra puts you back into the fight by mistake, and an ace comes forward for Queso.
It's not her fault. You're the one that clicked on the portal.
No, if you put on top of someone, it instantly puts your teammate back on through the portal. So
No, I'm being solo queue for you.
okay,
Yeah, it's never my fault. It's always your fault.
yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's the moment mentality for you, man. Yeah. Your response just is like the candy that we all feast upon. We garnish it with your tears. But anyways, 9-1. Again, Queso just being a powerhouse this early on. Not really a lot of return to be had here from the Megas. We just don't quite have the output. Kigazi, you can see, after the Shiv, he has himself a reflex. He's gotten into tier 2 armor, but what's he gonna do? He doesn't have a lot of damage built up.
Wow.
Even if he can stick to somebody, like the best that you're gonna be bringing forward is that mortal wound, and maybe then PMX can powerhouse through it because he has himself that shattered glass. But we're also 11 minutes in, and there's no second item for him, Dazzy.
Mano's just completed his third item and has gone to Poison Shiv, so double life still, and cutting down the healing that Zelono can put out. It's interesting stuff, you know, these new lifestyle steel builds that we're seeing coming onto some of the ranged weapon power carries. I guess when you're this far ahead, maybe it doesn't really matter. Maybe you're just gonna stomp on over, so you're just removing any chance that they come back into this. Zeleno caught up, sustaining a little bit. The portal to jump away from death from above, but that's just about it. Mega able to walk away alive this time.
9-1, 6,000 gold, a little bit more vision to be coming through here as PRZ puts down quite a bit of pepper in and around this area. Every bush, no, there's one bush not hit by these scout traps, but overall okay. All right, wait, hold on a second. PMX going double shatter glass. I mean, the only real people I ever see this was successful on, his name is Von C, and he is definitely not playing today. So this is an interesting gamble.
Pretty standard on Kestrels, really, when there's no shielding yet. There's no need to go into Broken Myth, and really there's nothing else that you can buy on Kestrel that's really CP Kestrel that's going to really do much apart from maybe some energy batteries. But so I would say PMX really isn't doing too much out of the ordinary. But at the same time, 0 and 4, right? They haven't quite found success yet. It's a bit of a gambit trying to build more damage when you're not surviving, and you know that's coming through the roots. You need a reflex block at least to block away PRZ.
Okay, all right,
There's the damage
PMX.
there.
Yeah.
Does a lot. One shot onto Sky, doesn't connect though, but this is a good start. Walks in, but this is PMX. He doesn't have energy. He's ran out because of the no energy battles. Oh my gosh, the root. Oh wow, comes on forward, and this has just gone disastrous for the Mega. That's going to be PMX eaten on up by the forward barrage. K-Gaza can just about dip and dive wherever he wants, maybe even able to get away from this one. Maybe not, as he runs into Amano here. There's the shielding, but here comes the damage. That's an ace for Team Queso, and it just looks so easy. A lot of missteps, unfortunately, for Make EU Great Again as Spain. Well, they say no.
Yeah, just say no bueno. Yeah.
No bueno.
No bueno. So yeah, you might you're not wrong about the double shatter glass, but again, I just feel PMX, he's not hitting his mark, right? And he's a very much a glass cannon. You saw immediately just how quickly he went down as soon as he got focused right there. And he's playing on the front lines pretty loose as well. So that's why I'm not really too much of a fan of this. But at the same time, there is the theory that goes for it. It's like when you're this far behind, the only thing you can do is actually just build damage to try to shore up the gap. Like if you can bring stuff back to par, you might be able to start crawling back in this game. Even if you go kill for kill, you're getting the better trade.
As Kestrel especially, there's just no way you build defensive and come back in. Here's a good setup. Will they walk into it? Yes, they do. Dark Ghost gets chunked on down by the active camo, but Gaza just gets eaten on up. No kills yet for the side of Make EU Great Again. Z Leno going to be chased on down, taken on out, and well, this
Run BMX
can't even escape from PRZ. She can't get into her active camo. She's just getting chased on down. Knock against the wall. A double comes forward for Amano there. 15-1, and with some death timers not quite ticking over yet, just mean that we will see one more fight, but this could just be GG for Heiso.
So again, while it's not really out of the ordinary, I just feel it's too much of a gamble here because PMX went from 0-4, 0-6, and that second is just not doing anything for him here. So Queso, just again, steamrolling, no problem. 10,000 gold has now been the result. It almost looked like the one-shot, one-kill killed Kigaza last round, but here we go.
Guys are trying to charge forward, but we'll just
never mind.
On up once more. You know, not enough life still. The poison shift means there's no sustain coming forward, and that's going to be a double kill. PMX showing his stuff, but he will go down in the end. So ridiculous stuff from Queso. Ridiculous builds from Amano. Just making sure this Black Feather never can do the damage, which just really counted him forward. And Team Queso with an 18-1 at 15.5 minutes will take the Vein Crystal.
Kigaza just never really got off the ground. Like, first item into the Shiv to try to counter Vox. I'm sorry, he didn't counter anybody. Don't want to be mean, but that Shiv was a big misplay early on because Kigaza just never came online. He has 35 weapon power to his name, eventually got into the heavy steel, but he couldn't make anything out of it. Like, he was forced into defense from there because he wanted to try to stick into the back. He wanted to be that aggression, that distraction for PMX, but they just weren't able to combine their powers at all.
Yeah, it's very surprising scenes. Queso dominating, making you great again, not having any success like we saw yesterday. Scoundrel builds, something that you love to talk about, and we saw plenty of interesting things that game.
Yeah, I'm kind of in sort of the court that Forecourt currently finds himself in. I know that sounds odd to say out loud, but I'm currently in that sort of area right now. I'm in Forecourt's court. I'm in the court of fours. But realistically, I found that whole build really, really odd because you go see a Serpent's Mask on Vox, which has been becoming more popular, by the way. A lot of people have been playing a Serpent Mask orientated build on the Vox. But realistically, you have a CP Kestrel on board. You're not playing a sustain game versus Vox. And realistically, do you think that Vox, if you're landing your Glimmer shots, do you think the Serpent's Mask is going to make an ounce of difference? Realistically? Like, you just go for burst. You make that Serpent's Mask a terrible pick because you just go for burst. So you build your classic Serpent's Mask build on the Black Feather. You combo with this double Shutterglass Kestrel and you just try and burst the Vox out. I mean, there's no point trying to play a sustain game against a Sky and a Vox because you're never going to win. It's just not a good game plan. You need to have the ability to just blow someone up. And unfortunately, Poison Shiv doesn't really offer that, especially if you're going to go for the Sky as well. The Poison Shiv made it that your prime target had to be Vox, who is arguably harder to lock down than Sky because he has more movement abilities. You know, Sonic Zoom comes off more cooldown more quickly than Suri Strike, or rather, a Suri Strike requires a target lock on and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm not sure I was totally on board with that build either, to be honest. But the Vox build has been something that we have been seeing quite often, although they don't often go Poison Shiv, Serpent's Mask, and Breaking Point. That's like a super sustain build, but definitely have seen more Serpent's Mask coming out from Voxes more recently as well, given the fact that that go-to build of the Breaking Point Double Tyrant's monocle is kind of faded now. Although I would say that a build that has been becoming more popular for Vox is the Breaking Point Tornado Trigger Tyrant's monocle. But again, this was him trying to play that sustain war, worked out very well for them.
Yeah, it 100% worked fine in this isolated scenario that was this game. And, you know, I guess that's the great thing about this patch is that you can build different builds. You can custom craft your build for the game that you're in, and you there's no reason not to as well. The weapon power items feel like they're in a really good spot where everything is viable.
Absolutely. I'm just checking these teams are both ready. It looks like one of our teams are ready and roaring to go. I'm going to wait for the confirmation that Team Queso is in that same boat, and we should be into this next draft phase. Can Team Queso lock it up as we have a team afterwards? I believe there is now a challenger for the Avia challengers, and it'll be Team Gravity, according to my sources of the VGL admin. So we should have a game all sorted for after this one, and we're just going to wait for confirmation from Team Queso that we are good to go. Forecourt, what do you think needs to change up here apart from builds? Obviously, that's the obvious one there. What do you think needs to change here for make EU great again?
Well, again, like the offensive combination just didn't work that round. Key guys, well, first of all, PMX Plus went down twice in the first 2 minutes of the game, so that was a no. First of all, Zileno actually has to make a decision. Protect the lane or protect the jungle. So we have to get something of a bit more of a sustaining jungle. The second was that the build path to the Black Feather just kind of shot themselves in the foot. So that 1-2 punch definitely did not work out. I'd want to see a little bit more of an offensive laner, a little bit more of maybe just a bruiserous jungle, because the glass cannons didn't work.
Now we're going to see this Fortress come forward here. For the side of Mega, we definitely saw Fortress yesterday from them. Made a fairly good plays with it. What will Team Queso answer with here? Vox seemed to work very well in the previous series before TH and Envy. Looks like we are going to get a Glaive locked in here. Of course, nope, Lance switches right at the last second. And Lance also a lot of utility available to you.
Absolutely, guys. So obviously, Lance has been so popular throughout pretty much all of this update and has been sort of rising in popularity over the last update as well. Duel was being thought of here, but they might be going for the Kestrel here, Team Queso, and they will lock in Kestrel against that Fortress. Obviously, Fortress being such a strong pick for both captain and jungle roles. And obviously, they're looking like they want to shape up a composition that does well into him. Lance is pretty good. You can knock that dog away when he jumps into the fray. No pun intended with Rona there, but when that dog jumps in, you can knock him away with that Githian wall. So Lance and Kestrel both quite slippery targets, good at peeling too. But look at this coming out for Make EU Great Again. The Glaive does get locked in. Now that could be CP Glaive if this Vox gets locked in for that really sort of utility focus to low cooldown afterburn. Just looking to reposition targets over and over again. If Fortress can't get there, Glaive certainly can. So very, very strong composition coming out from Make EU Great Again. How are we going to see Team Queso round this one out, Dowsey?
Not entirely sure yet. The Kestrel could go into the lane, could go into the jungle, so it makes things very viable for them. Looks like a Petal going to be their choice. Put the Kestrel, no Alpha, change their mind yet again. And Alpha's very strong as well because, well, what Mega are going to be doing, and I was kind of hoping they would send that Fortress into the jungle, but it will be instead K-Gaza on the Alpha, unless they role switch. Is that they're looking to go aggressive here, Mega. So the Alpha will have a much easier job blending her abilities.
Absolutely. We are going to be jumping into game then very shortly. And again, it's the time where I hand it over to Forecourt and Dowsey, our two wonderful gentlemen who have been guiding you through every match so dulcetly so far. And I'll see you after this game.
Dulcetly? I hope not. This is hype, Scoundrel. Game 2 here of the Mega versus Team Queso series here. And winner's bracket, it means that these guys do have a second chance in the loser's bracket for the losing team of this series. Wow, look at the contracts coming out as well. Zileno has himself a Iron Guard, but there's a Dragon Blood on K-Gaza. There's a Protector on PRZ. 3 contracts in a game. Let's go.
Wasn't this the K-Gaza strat last time? K-Gaza yesterday started off with, I believe it was a Fortress, actually. It was a Fortress into a Dragon Blood, and they invaded, and they just blew people up. K-Gaza had a game of his life yesterday. I do believe that was him. But with this, they're not going to quite find targets yet. You can see that Team Queso opting, they had Prez off into that bush. He did this last game. He was the scout, saw the incoming, and he was able to retreat into a nice 3-man there. But it's not really going to turn into anything here, so we'll have to keep an eye to see if this Dragon Blood will pan out. But K-Gaza and Zileno, this is a combo that could absolutely go and destroy a jungle.
Right, absolutely. We'll have to see if they're able to do so. You know, we saw early aggression coming out of Team Queso in the previous game, and it was the snowball that just kept snowing, kept rolling.
Did you just say it
I
kept
don't know.
snowing?
I did say that. It's you know, obviously an Aussie term. We use it very common over in Australia where there's lots of snow.
Right.
And so yeah.
You mean sand,
you know,
right? Lots of sand.
No. It's snow, man. You might need to get your eyes checked. You know,
Maybe.
the blazing heat just means the snow really sticks.
It's been a while since I've been up to Aussie Town. I have some relatives I need to go visit, so
Up
I'll
to
let you know
Aussie
next time
Town,
I'm there.
Okay. Land down under and he went up to it. All right, guys. Queso, well, they're getting aggressed on top of, as that's a good afterburn. PRZ knocked out of position. First blood likely to go over as they try their best to get the kill. It will end up going on over to Z Leno as they didn't want to lose it. Couldn't get onto a priority target, but Mega with the first blood.
Yeah, and again, Dragon Blood contract kind of coming out real big right there because they're able to combine it with the Fortress, right? Fortress gets his jaws into somebody. You can pop the percentage health. You have percentage damage on top of that with that Dragon Blood. And that is a lot to deal with early on, right? There's not really too much or too many characters that would be able to deal with that level of damage. Maybe, maybe a Mono. Yeah, Mono Jakku here with that infinite reboot, sure, but he's still going to drop down into it.
I love this move just to caught Amano into the lane to give Dark Ghost an easier time CSing these creeps by holding them in front of the turret instead of letting them crash into it. Nice little play there, a bit of coordination, just things that I like to see. Nice little spots there, but right now it is currently still that one kill. Does give a bit of an advantage over to Z Leno. Should be able to get the fountain online a little bit quicker on this fortress, and if you fight around that fountain item spike as a 3, then perhaps that could push your lead even further.
Well, we've seen 4-minute fountains and then we've seen 6-minute fountains, but unless you're going to make use of the window, yeah, it doesn't really seem to matter if you're a little bit late to the fountain, because you can easily just back off, you can just peel. But it's going to be rather hard, I feel, to peel, especially 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. If PMX is actually going to be on track for what I'm assuming is going to be a breaking point first, a breaking point into that fountain early could just net themselves another kill immediately. Again, with that Dragon Blood, with this cooldown glaive coming up, right? He's going to have those afterburns. He's going to keep these guys in position, and Queso's going to be on notice there early game.
Yep, and not only that, you then slow them with the contract, make things even harder to get back into position. You know, glaive, one of the premier counters, I think, into weapon power Kestrel in the lane. So Mega certainly looking to put as much pressure onto Dark Ghost as possible.
You can see Zelena actually throwing down a scout trap. I'm not entirely too sure how long that will last, but a little bit of vision goes a long way, especially for these rotations.
It lasted 10 seconds.
That's a good record right there. Yeah. Now, PRZ actually threw down the flare into the bush, so you can see he does that double back around the loop. But yeah, Mega, they're going to be okay. They're going to be, might have the kill, but they don't actually have the money.
Ooh, K-Gaza flying forward. PRZ going to be slowed and under turret, but is able to escape once more. And actually, PRZ, he was first to the fountain. It didn't quite come through yet for Z Leno as he prioritized so much gold into vision. We'll be able to finish it just now. Some more scout traps, some more flares. A breaking point comes through for PMX Plus as well. And it's nothing gained, nothing lost at the moment.
Yeah, Zeleno's been kind of wandering around a little bit. PRZ has been pretty consistently up in lane. He rotates down to pick up Treant Gold, but at the same time, he just basically comes right back up to the lane. So PRZ picking up the fountain first, because he had the cash and he had the opportunity first. It's not like he's really that far ahead if you compare the numbers. Like, they're very similar between both of these captains right now. But PMX, he's not wanting to deal with Dark Ghost yet. He does have first item, but so does Dark Ghost. So again, there wasn't really a big window to abuse from either side. Everybody's getting their power spikes pretty much the same time.
For Mega, this is a pretty good story for them. They fell so far behind in the previous game, right off the bat of the game, weren't really able to claw their way back into it whatsoever forecourt. But right now, things are pretty even, and actually a lot of tempo being set by Mega as well, with the continuous ganks on this utility glaive, the Storm Crown there as well for Key Gaza, so they can look to even take some of these objectives away if they want. However, Aftershock now cleared for Amana. actually a kill in the lane.
Yep.
As wow, PMX just kind of stepped a little bit too far forward.
Yeah, PRC was actually real good with that impale, but now could he be too far forward? I don't think so.
No, they have the alpha coming forward. It's just a bait. Here's the impale. They could get the kill. Leno, though, stays alive. Mano misses the prime directive. That just could have been it. Straight there. Kills missed for Team Queso. But still, 1 for 1. They're going to put pressure onto this turret.
Yeah, and the pressure is absolutely real. Here comes PMX, but that's going to be the afterburn.
Oh, Dark Ghost targeted. Dark Ghost will fall very low, but not dead. Because the Fountain keeps him alive in the end. That was some very nice, like, patience from Kgaza. You could see him, he afterburned in, and he was like, okay, I need to make sure I hit the... boom! There's the Kestrel. Still there, no reward.
That was almost a very AJ moment right there. But you recovered. It was good. PMX Plus got to be very disappointed he wasn't able to get the kill, but we just needed like one more turret shot would have been the difference. Just couldn't quite get it. So we'll remain 1-1 at the 7-minute mark. Only 1,000 gold between the teams. Not really that much. So as they continue to go back and forth, it was actually a little bit more of a CS lead for Amano versus Kgaza, but now it's actually swapped a little bit. It's Kgaza's almost online with that aftershock. I mean, he has that crown. He went crown first. We haven't seen a lot of jungle crowns today.
Yes, no, we haven't. But it was just the heroes being picked up. I guess none of them really prioritized them. So obviously the CP Glaive does, and we'll see an aftershock coming out of him soon as well. Mega, they're grouping up as 3, just trying to find a priority target, but they're not finding it. But I guess the reward is they do get to steal away some of these jungle creeps.
Yeah, and every little bit goes a long way, for sure. So as they continue to go back and forth, that's going to be the turret now down. Like, Mega's just not there to defend it.
It isn't. Interesting rotations. Or interesting bad. Because Queso were able to really just abuse the fact that Mega walked away from lane.
It was low-hanging fruit anyways. Like, if anything went wrong, that turret was going to be the first up. But now a little bit of return damage. PMX has that attack speed, has that shiv, you'll notice. Another poison shiv to come through.
Going the very similar build that we saw from Amano, but it's poison shiv this time instead of 7 miles. There's a great impale. PMX stays alive with the fountain as Amano is doing the damage. Wait for it. It does go out. The water wounds are there as well. Means you want to hold your thumb on that fountain, but now use it because it's necessary if this fight is going to continue. Fountain hasn't been used, or it just does, and that's going to be the first kill going forward. They're not going to find a second just yet, as Gaza does manage to buy some distance. Yes, the Leno will be the only casualty this time.
Back and forth, but Amano Jakku at the end with that infinite reboot just saying, okay, well, I'll take your damage, it's fine, cool, just throw it all into the wind by the time I come back up, and that's going to be an immense gold payout, simply because the positioning here for Queso just did not really suffer at all. So they get the kill, they get that gold mine, and that's going to be now gold lead going almost into the 3K mark here for Queso.
Do we need to see from Mega there? 3,000 gold behind, like you mentioned. The items are starting to come online here for everyone, realistically. But
PMX is going for a Serpent's Mask.
he is, yep. He's going sustain.
Double lifesteal is the thing this patch, it seems.
In this series, certainly. I think after Amano kind of just trashed them.
It just feels like Shiv and Serpent's Mask, independently. It doesn't even matter if it's on Vox. They've just been seeing a heck of a lot more work this patch.
Yeah, it's the poison shiv being buffed and being brought up to some of the same scales of the other items. Here's a fight though. Kgaza locked into this, but dodges the impale. There's the wolves going out, and you find it's a lot of damage that can be put down, but it doesn't matter. Kgaza will fall. The wound still sticking. Leno tries to walk away, but cannot. 2 kills. PMX does survive. I guess the sustain does work, but when your teammates are dead, what is sustain to you?
Well, Team Queso, if they can pick up the ace, they're for sure going to take down the turret. I'm not even sure they need the ace to take out the turret here either. Amano still has his infinite reboot available here as well.
Yep, and so can tank it up if necessary. Kgaza come in, blocks up the afterburn. There's the turret
Oh, what a
calling,
stun.
and active camo stun as well. That's going to be PRZ going very low as the alpha knocked away in the end. So
Good play.
no termination protocol. But Kigaza gives up his life for the act. A martyr for his team, and now the second turret going to go down as well.
Gosh, it's just like, all right, well, we don't have a lot of health, but it doesn't matter. One turret down, pick up another kill, use pretty much every button that they have, and pick up another turret for their trouble. So Queso, basically now on a very, they're on the highway. They're on the highway to victory here, Dazzy, and they're going fast. And so far, nothing is catching up to them.
No, not at all. Team Queso. It's really just their story. Their gold lead is huge. Their control over this game is huge as well. Only 2 turrets stand in between them in victory. And making you great again, just haven't been able to find a buy-in to this game. We're going to see some infusions. It's almost like a last hurrah if they can find a fight. Clearing out the vision as well. We'll have to see how this one goes.
Amano has the infinite reboot ready to roll again. He's if he gets jumped, I don't think this is a mega win.
There it is. Kigaza gets bursted on forward. The Founder keeps him alive for now, but here comes Amano. Doesn't quite find the blow up. There's another afterburn to knock and create space, but PMX Plus just doesn't quite have the damage. And, oh wow, so much burst from this alpha. First kill goes their way. Zleno falls as well. Kigaza will get the recall back to base, but that's just another fight, another victory for Team Queso.
I don't think we've seen an alpha die and stay dead. I don't think we've ever actually today seen an alpha go down into an infinite reboot and not get back up. Like, the tub thumping is real today.
Now just a snowball. Queso, unless they make a dire mistake, well, there's nothing Mega can do to come back into this game.
Well, that's 2 items now. So if you thought Amano was hitting hard before, these a little bit more of a longer team fights are just going to be going right into a wheelhouse there. But not even done. Look at this. Kigaza just starts things off.
PMX Plus is not even here. I don't know what the call from Mega was, because PMX Plus didn't get the memo. 2 kills, like, they just killed themselves. Like, without your Vox to do damage and be in a fight, it's not like CP Glaive or Utility Glaive really does that much damage. That should just be an ace coming forward. They could even look to finish. Oh, maybe not. That's a bit ridiculous based on the health bars, based on the death timers, based on how early we are into this game.
Health bars, don't look at the health bars. Health bars with an ace going through, yeah, health bars don't really matter. And the damage is real, Dowsy. We even got those ace buff minions coming in here.
Yeah, just causing a bit of trouble as that's Kigaza going down. Caught up in an impale. PRZ just making things work. They prioritize this Lance over Lyra, and they find themselves another game victory with it. Lance over Fortress. PRZ's Lance, man, just so good. And that's going to be Team Queso with a very, very solid 2-0 here. Very great stuff coming through from them. They just controlled the game so well. They made Mega look like nothing.
11-1, very overwhelming series from Team Queso to pick up a 2-0. And again, like yesterday, 0% alpha. Today, 100% alpha. Quite the difference, strong or not. But at the same time, just Queso, very strong themselves. They have no real, they're not new to the scene. They have maybe not VG8 experience, but they are absolutely a real team, and they have been in multiple challengers, and maybe this is their go. It's not like Make You Great again is out. I do believe they go down into the lower bracket, but Team Queso really gunning for a top 3 this split.
Well, gentlemen, that was an interesting game. I've got to say, this Vox build is interesting to me. It kind of does what you expect a Vox to do with the Breaking Point Double Tyrants monocle, but just adds an element of sustain to his kit, but really reduces his damage. Takes a little bit longer to stack up those Breaking Point stacks. And against, again, something like an Alpha and a Kestrel, it's a little bit more burst that comes through from these 2 particular heroes. It's not the CP Kestrel this time, but Weapon Power Kestrel still's got a decent amount of burst. I guess this is a Vox build that you choose to build against something that's going to be chasing you down consistently, like an Alpha, but Alpha just got too far ahead, and unfortunately, PMX Plus felt like he had a pretty good game, but both Kigaza and Zileno didn't really find their footing and he never really found that position because unfortunately, realistically, you wanted the glaive to be peeling for the Vox over and over again, allow Vox to build up to 20 breaking point stacks and just start to wreck faces, but there was nothing of that in the sort happening. That was a very, very good game, very dominant by Team Queso, and you're right. Make EU great again. They will be still here, still fighting in the lower bracket. We will be able to catch up with them next week, I assume. But for now, we're going to cut to a very short break. We are going to be looking at the next game between, well, I believe it's going to be between Team Gravity and Avia Challengers. Looking forward to that, guys. Have you seen much of Avia Challengers before?
Saw them yesterday. They did a bit of a gauntlet run, I believe, in their series against their opponents to stay in a reverse sweep. Was very nice stuff, but you know, they survived in the losers bracket match yesterday. Now have to see if they can survive once more.
Absolutely, in full court. Do you know much about Team Gravity, or is it just a team that sort of made their way through the start of the winners bracket and now unfortunately find themselves going up against Avia Challengers, who, by the way, beat, I think, Pharaoh's Curse, who Avia Challengers beat Pharaoh's Curse in the bottom bracket, which is actually pretty impressive given that Pharaoh's Curse have been a highly performing VGL team in the past.
They looked really just disheveled yesterday. They were not really on point. There's a lot of communication issues. So Avia Curse, on the other hand, looked pretty good form. I know they're into the lower bracket, but it was a pretty painful game to watch there, Alexandra. But Team Gravity, not really super familiar. I didn't really get to cover a lot of VGL last split there, so I don't really know some of these rising stars. But if Team Gravity is here into the lower bracket, well, maybe they're just a bit too heavy.
Well, we're going to be cutting to that short break just now, and when we're back, we'll have Team Gravity versus Avia Challengers, and we'll bring you all of that action. It'll be our last game of the day, and then we'll be back next week for some more VGL, so stick around, we've got one more game to go.
start. I don't know where to go. I'm told I'll reap all of what I sow. These mistakes have no one else to blame. Said I could feel it when you left me here, left me here. Our emotions are one and the same. So come on over, we can persevere, persevere. So come on over, we can persevere.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to have Team Gravity versus Avia challenges coming up on your screens now. I'm joined by Dalsy and Forecourt, and I believe we are going to try and jump straight into this game, as I believe both teams are ready. I will just double check before we go live, but it's been a quick assortment of series today. This is our last of the day. Avia Challengers obviously did pretty well. We saw them beat out Pharaoh's Curse, who was, I think they would have been considered the underdogs in that particular matchup, and Forecourt was saying they seemed a little bit off colour. But they're going up against Team Gravity, a team that looks pretty good from their outset, and it's going to be a big game for both these teams. Can Avia Challengers continue that run?
Well, I mean, it's definitely possible. I'm not super familiar with this team of Gravity, but Danny the girl and I think that's Noah and Prey. It's just new names, at least to me.
Absolutely. Teams are all ready to go, so I'm going to get this match into that draft. Ready and roaring. Just waiting for the client. There we go. We are ready to go into this draft phase. And Dalsy, it looks like we are thinking about a ban here for Team Gravity. We'll have to see what they choose to go for. Interestingly enough, not many people have picked Grumpjaw. And a lot of people have been saying that Grumpjaw's up there as a jungler right now. I don't know how you feel about that with the Fortress ban coming through.
We saw it a lot in NA, in the challenge battles and last night's games, a lot of Grumpjaw coming forward. I think Grumpjaw is in a really good, strong spot. I think we're going to see a lot of Grumpjaw this patch. Will we see it in this series? Well, we might, with some, hovers going on, but I don't really think hovers mean anything. They could just be trolling us and trolling their teammates a little bit.
It's definitely possible. We saw the Grumpjaw as a roam yesterday. That's a bit more of a distinction, though. No jungle, but man, it actually had some pretty spectacular results. Will we see that here today? I don't know. EU hasn't really been pushing it forward here as an agenda, but both healers going to get picked out pretty quick here.
Yep, both the Adagio and the Lyra, no surprise. And, they can go anywhere as well. A Sky going to come out here for Avia Challenger. I believe its Bolt did play it in the previous series that we saw yesterday for Court, and it worked out, so not the worst.
All right, so Dagio with the glaive, looking into the Vox now. Will it be a bit more of a traditional Vox? Are we going to see more of this double lifesteal? Like, Mortal Wounds is definitely something that you can say for both sides, but with this Sky, very likely, again, looking at a Crystal Sky, unless Krasix is really going to throw that on our head. But with a Lyra Captain, a Crystal Sky, that means we need some kind of weapon laner. And I think a Black Feather could definitely go into the wheelhouse. But Poison Shiv first has not been working out for the Black Feather.
What are your opinions, Scoundrel? What do we need to see on Caps's Black Feather?
I just think the classic Blackfeather build still stands pretty strong. I really like the Serpent's Mask into Breaking Point. I think that's still been tried and tested, even though Breaking Point had lost 5 stacks. How often do you see Breaking Point, especially on a Blackfeather, get up to 20 stacks? It's not that often, right? So most people don't actually end up feeling the difference from that Breaking Point nerf, because very rarely did we see teamfights get to the point where more than 20 stacks were actually being had. Even on some ranged weapon power carries, that was the case. So I still think the Serpent's Mask and the Breaking Point build is perfectly acceptable for Blackfeather. So that's my personal 2 cents on his build path. But Poison Shiv did get a sort of a stealth buff in the last patch, because when they changed all the attack speed over, they gave a pretty significant nerfs to most attack speed items, whereas Poison Shiv only had a 5% attack speed nerf. So realistically, there's actually a pretty huge attack speed buff given how attack speed changed in the last update. So it's just an interesting one to look at it from that perspective. Anyway, going to hand it over to you two gentlemen. We are into the start of this game between Team Gravity and Avia Challengers. We'll see who comes out on top.
The stealth buffs are the deadliest, but yes, it is this first game of this series for both these guys here, both looking to try and make their mark. It's a elimination match once more. Loser of this game, forecourt, will unfortunately be saying goodbye in Split 2 of the Challenger Series.
Yeah, that's how tournaments go. If you can't win, then you're probably not going to be invited to stay around for coffee. So I have to say, every game for Avia Challenger is going to be elimination all the way until the the top 8, if they can get to the top 8. That's going to be the big question of the day. But the same kind of applies here for Gravity. Every game could be your last. So Caps, it's Bolt and Krasix. They had a really good showing yesterday. As you said, they did take on Pharaoh's Curse. They won it out. I think that was actually 2-0. I believe everything was 2-0 yesterday, Dowsy. But they were on point. Now we have to see if they can do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. They group up into the lane here. It's Bolt's just laying down the suppressive fire on that forward barrage. And Krasix, maybe burning away right now. But with the Book of Eulogies on Caps, this Blackfeather is going to stay pretty sustained. You have the heal as well, but aggression comes out. Caps in trouble and will fall. Krasix just not expecting that engage from Danny the Girl, and first blood goes way of Gravity.
All right, so that's a nice way to start things off here, especially since a little bit more jungle is going to be stolen away. You can see the 2-man invade coming down. Bolt does pick up his backs, and it doesn't look like Gravity wants to try to force the issue.
Not at the moment. They're just going to fall back. Walking into a sky can be a bit of a scary situation. Walking into a Lyris sky, well, there's a lot of sustain there as well.
Yeah, so healers on both sides. Again, like a lot of conversation has been revolving around these lifesteal builds, these Poison Shiv builds here as well. But Bolt is going to be going into the Crystal. What will Danny Girl go? Like, if we are going to be looking into the weapon here from Noah, and I'm just going to call him Noah. Then Danny Girl, after this weapon blade, like you'd expect to see something more of a crystal utility, right? Get into the aftershock, get into that storm crown. But I'm very curious if this could actually be a little bit more of a swap, and we see Danny Girl going more weapon, and we have a double weapon here.
Perhaps maybe just going down the weapon build for now, just to have a bit more burst in the jungle. Crystal Bit's not really going to do much for you. Oakheart usually is seen like starting item with a weapon blade or a swift shooter, so that you can build straight into your storm crown as a utility glaive. We'll see now. Danny the Girl's just gone back to base. There's the Storm Guard banner coming through, so no surprise, it is a utility glaive coming in.
Okay, so good to see that it's just going to be a little bit more meta. I think there could have actually been a case for the double weapon here, but with the heals and only double weapon, like if you tanked up even just a little bit, like even if everybody just got the tier 2 armors, that's a big dent in your power output. So we'll have to see what Danny the Girl can do about this. Caps not level 6, won't have that barrel roll, but could he actually drop?
Not really. Like Danny the Girl wasn't able to
didn't hit boots.
Didn't hit boots, didn't go for the afterburn, and the rest of Team Gravity didn't seem like they wanted to fight.
They really didn't. Yeah, they came up here, they postured, but the lane was too pushed. Noah just last hitting very well as well. If you look at the numbers, Noah's now pushing into the 40s. Cap has been just consistently pushed off, and he is now sitting at 27.
the first blood definitely hurts because he missed out on so much CS from that first blood as well. So, if Noah is CSing perfectly in a scenario where that happens and Caps dies, cannot CS perfectly because of that, well, Avia, they fall behind in that department.
Danny the girl, just again posturing here, looking to put that threat of an afterburn, that threat of another death on the table. And Caps is just continuously has to back off. Even Krasix in this bush, right? He's kind of gambling a little bit here.
Yeah, just kind of trying to provide vision of where perhaps this glaive is. We're going to see Danny the girl move into the jungle of its bolts, but just going to come immediately back out. The Crystal Sentry spawn, not the place you want to be. Caps taking a bit of poke under the turret. The fire burning as Noah does a bit of damage back and forth. Going to get healed up for now. Have to see if we see any more aggression, because its bolts level 6 coming into the lane does have death from above unlocked. Could lock someone down. Board Barrage going to connect, but there's the afterburn up against the wall. Has to try and get away. Series Strike to buy some room, but it doesn't matter. That's Noah finding another kill for the side of Team Gravity. And really nothing AB could do about it.
Yeah, you might have a level 6 advantage over your opponents, but dying is a good way to negate a lot of that. So, I mean, there's definitely a window of opportunity here between Caps and Bolts. Like, if they could have made use of the death from above, use it as that stopgap for people to run away. Use that to try to box them in. But Danny the girl, very quick and decisive, just throws them into the wall with the afterburn, and that was that. So, 2 kills. Not, again, a bad start here for Gravity, but first item here for Noah is going to be that Sorrow Blade. Again, very likely going to be looking into, well, at this point, a Shiv, if I had to guess. But the Sorrow Blade start is a bit more traditional and something I can definitely get behind.
Yeah, well, for now, we'll have to see if it does enough damage. Caps will fall. Frostburn completed as well for Bolts, but everything's just going wrong. Caps has died 2 times. Bolts has died 1 time. Danny the girl on this utility clave is just so strong at putting someone out of position. And, Black Feather and Sky both have a lot of mobility, but it kind of feels like Avia aren't on the same page as, I guess, the timings of these ganks that Team Gravity are dishing out.
Okay, so that's a turn on top of things. All of a sudden, 6 minutes in, you're looking at something like 4,000 gold. Yeah, let's call it a little bit more than that with the decent gold payout going uncontested over here to Gravity. So Danny is looking in a pretty good form here. Has been part of all 3 kills. The afterburns have been very effective here early on. Again, level 6 is where Caps becomes a little bit more mobile, a little bit more survivable. And same there with Krasix. Of course, Krasix does have a speed up, whereas Caps doesn't. But 3 kills, all in lane. Well, sort of in lane. Like, Bolts kind of died a little bit out of the lane, but this has really accelerated a lot of things here for Gravity.
No doubt. They're firmly in the lead, at a 7-minute mark, a 3,500 gold lead is nothing to sniff at. And if Danny is able to continue pulling off ganks, which just seems so simple for Team Gravity, then Avia are just going to continue snowballing in the opposite direction. They're going to continue falling so far behind. We already saw the Black Feather struggle to come online in our previous series, and I fear for Caps that we might see another story, which is very, very similar.
And this is just kind of goes a little bit more towards the accentuating the point of the accelerated farm. 8 minutes in, this is the fastest Crown Aftershock build we've seen from a jungler today. 8 minutes. And she can now just go straight into more defense. And that's a pretty powerful thing, especially up against Cap.
It is. We're going to see another fight. It's Bolts trying to escape. The death from above will lock down Danny, and Danny, no heals to come forward. I don't know why Prey didn't pull that one off. Perhaps didn't feel like they were in range for the fountain. Perhaps felt like it would have had much of an effect. But the first kill goes over to Avia on the back of a bit of a misstep from Team Gravity.
I think Danny Girl just assumed that he could blow up Bolts. Like, Bolt was real low, yeah, that's for sure. The Blood Song came out and had almost no health. But I feel like they expected a kill, or perhaps they expected everybody to be on the same page. Felt more miscommunication than anything, for sure, there, Dowsy. So Bolt's going to be happy about that one. Gets himself an assist to go with his death. And he has his 1 item into a reflex block. 700 gold to boot past that. So we'll have to see where he wants to go. But, a second blue item sometime in the next few minutes would be very beneficial for this Sky.
we're going to finally see the damage items for Caps come out as well. 9 minutes, Sorrow Blade completed. It's very late.
There's no shivs. There's
Yep.
no shivs, Dowsy. That's
Yeah.
While I approve of this, it's a little unexpected with the way today's gone.
Yeah, no, you're right. We have seen Serpent Masks and Shivs, but not today.
Well, not yet. Maybe down the line. But no Serpent's Mask for Caps either. That's like Blackfeather's a very kind of rough and tumble kind of guy. Like he gets in, he has that damage, but he's going to be taking a lot of punishment. Having at least any lifesteal feels maybe just a little bit more arrogance. Like he assumes he can get the kills with this sword blade, and if he doesn't, he's going to be a sitting duck.
Well, those on points definitely do work. You can see if they land them, it does eat through Noah's health bar, but Danny the Girl just being such a threat. There it is. Caps able to take down this Vox. Bit of an assassination there as the Verse of Judgment comes out from Prey. Locks down this Black Feather as currently Bolt trying to lay down the damage from afar. Danny the Girl is going to try and turn this fight around. The stuns come through. Prey trying to find the auto attacks to find Bolts and to finish them off. Will get the trade. Leaves Danny the Girl in a 1 versus 2. Caps looking to just charge away from this one. Very in a strange fight. I guess Caps able to execute Noah means that things will theoretically go much better for them.
He executed Noah and Prey, picked up both of those kills at the end. So, hey, maybe that arrogance is deserved. Maybe not. Who knows? Either way, at the end of it all, picking up 2 more kills there and not really giving up too much in the process. That's absolutely huge for these guys because while Avia is still down in kills, if they can just reap some of this bounty gold, if they can go even on some of these kills and even just claw back like an extra jungle camp, like that's huge for them.
This is going to be another engage coming out of Team Gravity. They're not quite able to find the kill onto Caps, but will force the recall, and I'm sure Krasix will be feeling like he needs to go back shortly as well. Team Gravity, they have full control of this game. They have a 6,000 gold lead. They can take away this gold mine. Are pretty much uncontested, going to start it up as well. But we have seen that the Avia guys, the Avia challengers can fight back. So it's not as clear cut. It's really kind of on the back of Noah's positioning. If Caps can get on top of Noah and knock him down, then that's going to be a huge win for them.
They're going to go for a fight here, but look immediately, just like making that exit. Caps went back in. Not entirely too sure that was a calculated risk right there, but Gravity did not take the bait.
Very interesting purchase here. Prey with a null mental null wave gauntlet. I'm struggling to see why we would have this come through. Perhaps they feel like if they can item silence Krasix, then the ability to get maybe a Verse of Judgment off is easier. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts right now is that Gravity, despite having a little bit more of a rougher last engage, is still very much in the lead. Like with the Sword Blade online for Caps, with now the Serpent's Mask, I think that's a way better combo. Although I probably would have done backwards. But Noah at the same time, that's a very hard hitting Vox.
It is, and it's going to continue being a hard-hitting Fox if he can get into position to do the damage. A 4th damage item coming out for Noah as he builds that lucky coin. The infusions there, level 11. We're hitting this 15-minute mark very quickly, and we're currently looking to see if Gravity can find the fight that will give them, their second turret as well as the objectives they need. This turret going to go very low as the crit strike adds up 415, always, and Hivia maybe pulling a bit of a backwards forward barrage, not the place where you want it to be. And Team Gravity, well, they're going to meet this Crystal Sentry with loving arms as they send him back home one more time. Prey takes a huge chunk of damage. This fight, Avia wants it as Danny the Girl trying to get on to Bolts. They're going to find the kill Noah, but Caps is disallowed from getting on top of Noah for now. Krasix goes down. Very interesting focus from this Vox going for the Lyra rather than the damage threat of Caps. And ultimately, it serves for a 1-for-1.
There's a lot of building up into an Atlas going back and forth, and I think those are absolutely going to be necessary. I mean, you just saw the damage that Noah's able to pump out, right? 400 crits back to back to back. Bolts, like it's Bolt. It almost looked like he's a null factor in some of these fights, but he's at least good as a target, and he's able to chase everybody into the corner, where unfortunately that's where he had his back up against the wall. No claws to come out. You just hit the floor, but at least the team got the return kill on top of Noah. And Noah has 0 armor. Noah's going to go into Aegis. Fine. Eventually that will be some armor. But for Red, he's looking just to destroy everybody before they even touch him.
Yeah, no, he is. It's right now just huge damage coming out for Noah, and with that gold payout, the 15-minute mark, and the Kraken now on the line. This is the last test in this game for Avia. They're in a position now where the Kraken gets taken, the choke point turret falls, the first Vein Crystal turret certainly falls as well, and that might even also be the Vein Crystal going down, depending on how the team fight around the Kraken goes.
Okay, so round and round we go. Where will we stop? Nobody knows, but Caps is getting chunked so hard. Prey's looking
for the fight. If they get the fight, they get the Kraken, so this is where they're looking. Noah's going to get Caps here, looks to try and take him down. The Fountain keeps this Black Fur alive, but not for long enough.
Oof.
That's going to be bolts falling as well. The crits on this box just so huge as Danny the Girl going to follow that portal forward, try and find Krasix. The minion wave is in a fairly good position if Team Gravity wanted to try and take this choke point turret down, and I expect Noah going to stick around, take it down as the Glaive and the Adagio make their way over to the Kraken to start that one up. Very nice roundabout turn here for Team Gravity. They're going to try and take everything off the map.
I don't know if Danny the Girl can actually do Kraken by himself, but at least he's going to get a good chunk of it done. And with the turret going down on top of things, with 2 more kills under their belt, Gravity's looking again just phenomenal. I think they've really snowballed that early pressure, that early just maneuvering that they had very well into the mid game. And now with Kraken pushing forward, this is actually pretty dire straits for Avia. And again, I just gotta really wonder about Crystal Sky this patch. Like, she has had a good showing in some games, but overall, if you can't get that early lead, she seems to really suffer.
Not only that, the item builds on Avia have been a bit odd. We've hit this 4th damage item for Vox, and really there's no armor to match it. Cap's only just now building down the armor tree. Krasix finishes the Atlas finally, but it just seems odd. We're going to take the Crystal Sentry out here. Maybe odd prioritization as the Kraken is into the base, but for TG, they're just taking everything. They want this clean game here. Krasix looking to dive forward, gets off the Atlas. That's going to mean that this Vox is in trouble as Danny tries to open the room, but good usage of the Gauntlet. Sorry, the Crucible to keep them not from being knocked around. That's going to be the first kill going over, but Caps will be taken on down. Danny the Girl trying to find more. Really, they're just buying time. The Kraken's doing the work for them as the first Vein Crystal turret falls, and, well, Danny the Girl, she's getting into position to try and get the second. Bolts trying their best to cut down this Glaive, but this turret is falling, and the Kraken still so healthy. Prey will fall in the end, but they can't take down this Glaive soon enough. Then at the moment, well, it will just be GG. Team Gravity coming forward and able to finish this one out, and Avia just didn't have enough to deal with it.
No, the cooldown dance master right there with Glaive just going back and forth between the crystal left to right, up to down, and Bolt just not able to really follow that through. I'm not entirely convinced Bolt would have had the damage to deal with the Kraken anyways, but again, just a super strong showing. Like, they had a good start here from Gravity. They took control of the lead, and they never let it go. Triple crit items for Noah. He did eventually get that Aegis by the end of it, but just 400 damage crits at what, the 12-minute mark or so was just way too much for Avia to deal with. And, you know, Sky, no armor. We eventually got that tier 2, but Caps almost, like, he went into another heavy steel instead of an Atlas. I really feel like getting that Atlas online would have been way better for their damage output.
I think you guys hit the nail on the head there. Obviously, the main critique that I can have generally, as I'm sort of busy spectating, I don't tend to look at the gameplay huge amounts. I'm more just making sure I'm not screwing up the camera. But I mean, the main thing to look at it from that point of view right there was that there was just no armor. Like, and I think you guys both picked on it. When you got a Vox going down a huge critical strike build path, literally no armor. built up until the very end, and even then it was just some tier 2 armor on the Black Feather. Just not enough and not quickly enough either, and that just meant that Vox was able to shred through anybody super quickly. And then the Null Wave that came out, well, if you've got a Vox who's built a huge amount of critical strike and you combo that with a slightly bursty glaive with the Aftershock, you just want to make sure that they can't get Fountain or Crucible off. So you just Null Wave, or you can Null Wave someone with a reflex block and you just jump at them and you try and burst them. That's why Null Wave synergizes really well with burst, because it prevents things like Fountain and Crucible being used, meaning that they can't then try and make up for that burst coming through from your carries. So yeah, interesting build paths on both sides, but I definitely like that Vox build, more aggressive, more looking to take a real stand in the game.
Having a double silence option is also just like really nice for Team Gravity, because even if the No Wave gets blocked, you don't have a Crucible or a Reflex, or even just with bad timing, right? You can sneak that extra silence into that, and that just allows so many crits to go through unaffected.
That's the point as well, and critical strike. When you look at Vainglory, and this is just a general sort of discussion on weapon power and armor, when you look at armor values and how good weapon power is in a critical strike build path, and how good weapon power is with breaking point, and then how good weapon power is with bonesaw, it's like this, right? At the low ends of armor, like base armor, which is 86 at level 12, I think for most heroes, critical strike is superior in terms of damage per second output. So critical strike is always better at low and no armor values. Then when you move up the armor chain, heading towards 150 armor, which is literally just tier 2 armor, by the way. If you get level 12 and tier 2 armor, you've hit that 150 armor point. The breaking point and bonesaw builds start to become slightly better than the critical strikes, because critical strikes will never get better as the fight progresses, and armor actually cuts off a huge amount of damage from weapon power builds. So if you're building critical strike, the best thing that you can do, or if your opponents are building critical strike, the best thing you do is just build a tier 2 armor, and you're basically already halving the damage output that they can put onto you. But it was just so late, you have to say, coming out from Team Gravity, really late, and I've got to say I wasn't super. Sorry, the scores was actually just wrong, because I forgot to swap them over. I've got to say that the AVR, I think, should have been slightly quicker in that defensive build path, but we are going to jump into the next game when teams are ready and are raring to go. Dalsy, are we ready for this next game?
We are 100%.
I know, I just meant it more as like a pep talk, like, are we ready for this next game, Dalsy? Yeah!
Let's go, team! Yeah!
It was mainly just it was mainly an awkward pass so I could type to the team saying,
I was
ready?
Going
Are you ready to go?
I don't feel
ready to
like
go,
Avia
teams? Yeah.
I'm ready to go. Like Avia, they everything. There's just so many things to pick apart from the previous game. So I don't know, man. Lots of things that I want to see different. Lots of builds. Builds have been the strange thing. I think that's like the good thing about 2.3 is that you can build whatever you want, but also does that mean you should build whatever you want? There is definitely optimal things. And we have hindsight. We have 2020.
You can always build whatever you want, but there are definitely optimal build paths, cool. And I think a lot of teams and a lot of players are still discovering those optimal build paths.
I built Fountain on Idris the other day in a ranked match.
I built Fountain on carries before though. It's just that's not new, Dalsy. Get out, Dalsy.
Not insta-lock a carry after carry was picked, and so it was kind of like, well, we don't have a captain, so I'm going to build Fountain, I'll be the captain then. Whilst building full damage as well. But it worked, we won, because, it's solo queue.
I've won 2v3s in solo queue before. Anyway, we're into the draft phase. Don't want to do the usual Dalsy Scoundrel thing where we end up talking about something completely irrelevant for the entire draft phase. And Lance and looks like Fortress is going to be banned here, which leaves both Lyra and Adagio open should the teams choose. Definitely been slightly less priority you'd have to feel on these. Especially Adagio definitely had still reigning up there, especially in the captain role. I definitely think the CP Adagio lane has started to sort of disappear ever so slightly, but Captain Adagio still super strong. And Lyra looks like it will be the immediate response by Gravity.
Okay.
Strange.
More healers. Healers everywhere, man.
This is it's the next picks that interest me more than anything. Typically, you go a laner here for Corp because you can then hide your CP jungler, which can flex so much. But we're just gonna insta-lock the Koshka instead.
Yeah, the Koshka going through the jungle will certainly be like. This is where I would try to put a fortress with it, but of course it's banned. So to go with a lane like this. I mean, yeah, you'd also have to put Lyra into the lane. So, I mean, It's probably going to be a Voxer Ringo, like, at this point. If we went into the Koshka and Black Feather, I mean, like, there's a lot of gap close on that, but I think that Avia could easily play around that. Not so sure about the Sky, though.
Well, they're going for it again, aren't they? Here, a Scoundrel. Oh, maybe not. You know, it seems odd that
I'm here.
we're prioritizing the Sky when I don't feel like it had much of an impact.
Well, you never know what people's heroes pools are in the Challenger series. It's not like we're at the highest level of Vainglory here. This is like a decent level of Vainglory. You're good players, but you still might be within. We just saw Idris get locked in. I'm sure Dalsey is probably wetting himself right now. But obviously, Sky, you might find that this is just this guy's best hero. It could be as simple as that. Also, in the case that against the Koshka, if you get the Frostburn, then maybe you can slow her down. But Koshka, I think, is classically one of the better heroes against Sky, because obviously you can just kind of run out of the vector of that forward barrage. So yeah, I'm not so convinced that Sky was a super great pick here. But maybe Bolt is just really... Wait, Bolt's playing... Wait a second. Bolt's playing the Glaive this time around. They've actually just picked Sky regardless. So I just, don't know what I'm talking about.
Weapon Power Sky, I prefer it.
Yeah, Weapon Power Sky could come
100%.
That's okay. That's okay. We're on to the second game here. Avia, well, this is their last chance. See you, ex-scoundrel. Love you, buddy. We'll see you. We'll catch up again. You know, maybe over a post-game breakdown. If you're around for that in 20 minutes time. It's this matchup. Weapon Power Sky definitely seems to have a little bit more success here in 2.3.
Well, I personally do believe that it's a stronger build because the crystal, if you don't get ahead, it just seems to fall flat. It's very hard to win up against these, or as it was Crystal Sky. It seems to be very hard to win up against these. And Noah, oh man, that's a bad spot, Dazzy.
Is first blood instantly to Avia. Well, if you need a mentality boost, that's as good as any. That's before the minute mark, the first minute even ticked over.
He needed that step, man. He went into the chakrams first, understandably so, but without that that escape, well, yeah, that's gonna be a great start for Avia, though. So Weapon Sky, yeah, look forward to it. I highly doubt we're gonna see something like what Vox has been rocking these days with the Serpent's Mask and the Poison Shiv and all that, but at the same time, you know, go into the sword plate, get that breaking point, get into the crit. That build still just can demolish.
Certainly can. We're going to be excited to see what Noah is prioritizing here. A lot of Idris builds available, talking to a lot of the high-level Idris players over in North America about their thoughts on Idris, where we should go. But at the bottom of the map, Danny the girl, taking a little bit of damage. She is going to be able to get over to Prey, get a heal there. Nothing really too scary, I guess, for the Koshka. Of course, movement speed, so strong.
Koshka is definitely one of the junglers with the highest mobility, with the highest movement speeds because of all the boosts that she can apply to herself there. And then at the same time, you know, the Yummy Catnip Frenzy is a pretty decent range on that there as well, Dowsy. So Avia, you know, having the power of this glaive, if they can just continue to, you know, poke and get some of these kills, it's going to be exactly what Team Gravity did to them.
That was the most awkward gank as well, coming out of Avia, as you know, the right bullet goes down and Bolt was like, "Oh, okay," then just kind of sat still, like, "I guess I'll just be here instead then."
Yeah, just don't mind me, guys. Don't mind me. Krasic's helping to just freeze out the lane a little bit. Now Cap's just going to be able to push it back, but Koshka is really trying to make stuff happen here. Prey there as well, and it's going to be some gravity steal.
Krasic's in trouble. Gonna go very, very low here. Is able to get to the turret, as you mentioned. Caps as well, so low. Avia just in trouble. They're trying to fight. Bolt trying his best to be a big, scary glaive, but at the moment, Team Gravity, they can look to even push this turret down. They could get 2 kills fairly easy here. Chakram can just snipe them out. Here it goes. Danny the girl. There it are. 2 kills. You know? What do Avia think he was going to come from that? They wanted so desperately to protect their turret, but they were too low. They stick around this turret now under fire as Prey is tanking it up. Maybe not really what you want to do, because it means everyone else has to leave the turret range to drop the aggro. The turret will not fall just yet, but it's such a chunk of damage.
Bolt I assume that he was waiting for a team to come back so they could fight. Nope, he's off in the jungle, but Caps is looking for a kill.
No, it was like instead of dodging backwards, dodged sidewards.
Weird.
Yeah, it was everything here was just. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that was certainly an interesting communication thing because Bolt wanted to have nothing to do with the fight, whereas Caps was pushing forward. Caps now losing a good chunk of health there as Danny comes forward, but back and forth, back and forth. There also didn't seem to be a priority on the turret, Dowsy. Like there was so much time where there was nobody to contest this turret, but Gravity seemed more interested in auto attacking a glaive and activating the trap card.
Right, and I guess like we have to remember this is like it was 2 minutes into the game. No one had damage items built, so there is that element. You know, the Idris of
What is
course
Bolt
with the
doing?
eulogies. He's diving forward looking for an engage, but it doesn't come. Danny the Girl has Shattered Glass, just completed it at 4 minutes. So, our next fight, if Team Gravity could find a favorable one, could just result in an ace.
Yeah, that's a little scary, if I have to say so myself. 4.5 minutes. Shatterglass has no boots or anything, just straight up Shatterglass. But every time I see a Koch get into a Shatterglass, if they can't get a good snowball going here early on, they are going to flatten out a little bit. And that's something that you got to keep in the back of your mind here. Idris might get more powerful, like unlocking the divergent paths and all that, but Koshka won't.
No, well, currently Team Gravity in the position now where they can just look to make moves. We're going to see Bolt, you know, try and farm up, try and get this glaive to that Stormguard banner, that Aftershock period where it can do a bit of damage. That's its power spike there. And now Danny the Girl just diving on forward, finding so much DPS with this Shatterglass Koshka. And this turret now will be under fire. Bolt hasn't moved up. There's nowhere for him. That flare will spot Bolt coming from a mile away if TG want to dive, and they will. Krasix going to go very low. Not able to find the snipe with that just yet. The chakram flies out, but the range just not quite there. And Bolt is making their way up finally, but could just get locked down immediately. Oh, Bright Bulwark, that's his sealed. Walks straight towards the Lyra. Loses his life. Another odd play from Bolt's glaive. I don't know what you would want to say about that.
It's making me scratch my head a little bit. Absolutely. That's also first item here for Bolt because he is really starting to fall behind. And this is not the Avia Challenger that we're used to seeing. He's actually now even just all the way back in base, kind of chilling. I don't know if this is intentional or not at all, but one theory would be all these kind of late hits, all these late afterburns is simply because he's having issues at home.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. You know, that's going to be a gold miner coming out. That's the Sorrow Blade as well completed for Noah's Idris. Divergent paths will be now unlocked. I think
Cha-ching.
on the shroud step. I'm losing my words. And yeah, this is very uncharacteristic. You know, of Avia. It felt like yesterday had great mentality coming into into the series yesterday for Court. And right now, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're definitely looking a little bit more disheveled. They're looking unorganized, and unfortunately, Bolt just he keeps hitting these afterburns at very strange intervals. So we'll have to see if they can clean that up or not, because the game is getting away from them. 4,000 gold between the teams. Danny now coming in with those boots, but that Shatterglass still hits hard this early on.
Knife for Bright Bulwark, going to disengage the fight. TG, though, not on the same path. The Yummy Company Frenzy will come forward. Caps will be stuck in it, and that is him falling to this Idris. There's a Shimmer Strike straight onto Bolt. A double kill for Noah. So he makes this Idris look flash. He's going to get the heals as well. Looking for an ace, Danny the Girl, but doesn't look like she's going to get it just now. As TG push this wave into the turret, they can look to get the turret for themselves. Another odd chakram. No, it doesn't seem to really know the full range of that ability, but it doesn't seem to matter either. They're going to take this turret down as Krasix looks to try and stun them up, but it just doesn't happen. The burst goes out, and TG go, oh, did you sneeze? Didn't. Bless you, I guess. Yeah.
Got you. Yeah.
Bless you.
All of a sudden, it's like the big bad wolf and the three little pigs, right? All of a sudden, the turrets are blown away.
That's it, man. And this is exactly what TG need to be doing. A 5,000 gold lead. Avia being choked out of their jungle now. They're moving in, moving a bit deeper. Like, they haven't quite got to the backs yet, and that's the next step of that kind of choke is that, okay, double Sorrow Blade?
That's how you do it, man.
I haven't seen this before. Actually, no. Who was it told me to try this?
Monsi, probably.
Kavalifa told me to try a double Sorrow Blade on the Idris because it
Oh
just
my
does
goodness.
so much damage on the Chakram.
Caps, get some armor stat. That
Right.
was dumb. Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Double. We've gotten to see double Shatterglass, and now today we've gotten to see the double Sora Blade. It's the Von C day of builds, man.
This is there's some interesting stuff. No, Tyra's. It was Tyra's who asked Kavalifa. But yeah, Chakram is one of Idris's. It is Idris's main damage. You know, you throw it forward, you shroud step in, dodging the Chakram so it gets another rotation of a play. You get a couple auto attacks off a Shimmer Strike as soon as it's coming through you again. Another Chakram flies out. At this point, you've overdriven your Chakram, it's going to be up again, so you can throw out a second Chakram, Shroud Strip both of them if you've got the timing right. 2 Chakrams flying back and forth, everyone's dead, and you're just kind of smiling there as an Idris.
You just got to be feeling real good about that one. Here's an infusion coming out from Danny, good old Danny boy, but Danny the girl just really taking names here as well. 103, but gets so much burst down, which has allowed Noah to pick up a good amount of the kills right there. And if you're looking at 6,500 gold between the teams, 10 minutes in, like one more good hit here, and Avia could actually lose out that choke turret.
Yeah, it's just one push, and the damage that are on these guys, they could just do it over 2 minion waves, I feel like, without even looking for a huge fight, but they are going in. Caps gets bursted down by the Chakram damage on Noah, just the auto attack. There it is, once more dives on in, that's him dead. Chakram just so strong. Yummy Captain Frenzy blocked out, but this turret will not have the same fate, going to be falling. Aftershock breaking point completed here by Avia, but man, it's just too little too late. Noah might lose his life. Fountain comes in. He has the Shimmer Strike, but he's not going to use it. Doesn't go for it. But hey, they get the return kill, a 1-for-1 in the end.
Oh man, like that choke turret going down and a few more kills to the name. That's a full jungle. That's going to be that full gold miner going over. And like Noah might have lost his life for that push, but that was totally 100% worth, because he has a tornado trigger once he comes back out of the base area. So this is going from bad to worse for Avia. Like bolts is finally 2 items, but we're looking at what, 2 items on Danny, 3 items on Noah, and Caps. He's just kind of sticking a little bit more starved to his 2-item build here as well.
Yeah, Avia are they're crumbling, I guess, under the pressure that is being exerted here by Team Gravity. It's stacking up, isn't it? And well, pressure will hurt. I don't know if you've been in a gravity simulator where they try and imply how much pressure different depths will feel. It's something I got to experience once whilst I was at school, and it hurts. It's a very weird feeling when gravity starts stacking up.
Isn't there multiple songs about gravity?
I'm sure there is.
I mean, we could do quotes for days. Well, we could, yeah, maybe not today. We'll do a karaoke stream later, me and you. But as long as there's a Wilhelm scream somewhere in there, we're good.
Yes, definitely. 12 minutes right now for Team Gravity. Kraken's up in 3. They're going to take this gold miner away. This right now, they're just buying their time. They're hoping that Avia pushes out of their base, gets desperate. But if Avia doesn't get desperate, well, the Kraken's up in 2.5 minutes, and that could just be it.
We have so much cash.
It should be it, right?
Well, Gravity just picked up infusions, right? So if there is going to be a push here and we have no infusions from Avia, Crossix, yeah, there we go. Motor on out of that one, buddy. Like in infusions with this far ahead up against a team with no infusions, there should be a very clear winner on this one.
There'll be a fight here, probably, as the sentry goes down. Krasix, so much damage as Danny the girl dives on in. A good afterburn, going to knock Danny against the wall. Just going to start disengaging. The death from above comes through. They can sustain this. They can heal back up here. Prey just waiting to do so. The fire goes away, and Danny up to 3/4 of HP. Going to restack that passive. TG, they're pushing in for the win, at least for a turret. Let's see if they go for a fight. Bright Bulwark goes down preemptively, expecting the engage from Bolts. That's going to be Danny the girl diving on in, and look at this Idris. Noah trying to find the damage. The Chakram's going to start flying out. They can't quite find it. Noah a little bit off center with his combinations currently. Still buying time though. 15 minutes is approaching, and that's really when TG are looking for their big move.
I'm impressed that Evia held that. Like, they did not look weak at all. They might be down, several thousand gold, but they're not done yet.
No one followed the portal through. That was a bit strange by TG, but they're looking for the engage nonetheless. That's going to be the first going down. Noah finds it. Looking for a second as the chakram flies through. Does find damage onto bolts, but he's healing on the fountain there. Now TG, they're going to get some heals. They're going to look to try and lay down as much damage onto this crystal turret here. Oh dear. Bolts mistiming that. Goes straight into the bright bulwark as Noah tries to find a cheeky kill with the chakram, but hey, he might be in a bit of trouble here. Overstayed just a tad. Yeah, he is in so much trouble. You can't go through that wall. That's just not something you can do. And good night.
As an Idris main, did that make you laugh a little bit?
I've never been able to do it, and I've tried many times. So perhaps there's a pixel on that wall that you can dive through, but I haven't found it yet. So
All right, yeah, definitely a little bit more of a strange rotation from Noah, or lack of rotation. But at this point, again, he feels like he's so far ahead. We're almost to a 10,000 gold mark difference, and just continuously fighting in the base of Evia is just really going to keep them very much contained. Like, there's no chance of jungle, no chance of gold miner, and now with the Kraken coming through, like, if they get pushed back again, Gravity might be able to freaking clear a win.
right, fighting in the base of Avia is huge because there's literally no gold income apart from a lane shared between three. It's just not much. This is a bit of an awkward fight as Praise called out. Noah is making his way in finally, but Danny the Girl is going very low. Tries to get behind the Crystal Sentry, but the Afterburn will not go into position for the kill. Noah is here looking for Bolt. Very low on energy. Afterburn's just not enough for it, and he falls down. Now going to be charging forward, looking for Krasix, looking for caps on this Idris, making a V-line through into the lane. Krasix, well, he's going to get caught in between a sandwich, but Noah, he has eyes only for caps, trying to dive forward, has that Shimmer Strike available, not going to get the movement speed though, and now it is just going to be Krasix in trouble. Oh, he didn't throw his chakram. Okay, never mind. We'll go down anyway. Sloppy play, but it's they're so far
enough
ahead.
ahead.
They're
Yeah.
10,000 head. TG, it's really hard for them to lose this game.
I mean, Cap's farm has been pretty sealed at this point. Same with Bolt. I mean, just looking at those straight numbers right there gives you a big sense of how much farm that these guys have between them. But, 3 items there on top of Cap. No defense is pretty much just that one shot. Either he's going to get the damage done or he's going to be a pile of rubble on the floor. But that's so close to doing something for the Kraken. Bolt's, I think, did he boots? Yeah, he booted forward looking for that.
Nothing gonna come from it. This is the penultimate moment for Avia. Unfortunately, this is their last chance of staying in Split 2's Challenger Series right now. The Kraken setting up to push into their base for the final time.
10-5 for the score, and leading into this best of 3 with 1 up already. Looking for that portal over the wall. You can tell that Krasix and Bolt, I think they have an idea that this is happening, but once it actually happens, like when TG is behind them, that's a bad spot for Avia to be in.
Right, this is such a good way to do it because it just forces the fight around the Kraken. Caps, he's stuck in the bright bulwark. Bolt's not being able to find it. Afterburn pushed out of the base as well. Everyone's fighting everywhere, but right now it's Noah looking for Krasix here as he dives on forward. Going very low, will actually go down, but the first Vein Crystal turret has fallen, and Danny the Girl still fairly safe in positioning. Gonna dive forward, gonna try and knock down this turret, but is gonna go straight into a death from above. Will fall in the end, but this Kraken's still alive. Prey just trying to be distracted, trying to make sure that the DPS doesn't go their way, but the ace will come through. The Kraken should drop as well, and that's going to be base defended by Avia.
All right, so they defend the whole portal switcheroo thing. When the glaive went through it, I thought, okay, this is actually a really big moment. But when Lyra followed there, that was a problem because then Noah was pretty much there without defense, right? He didn't have any of the buttons that normally he's used to, right? There's no Aegis to come through, or there's no Crucible to come through, there's no Fountain, no heals, no Bright Bulwarks to kind of keep him a little bit more safe. So he did get Zerg down pretty good, and that's some big bonus points right there to Avia. And, well, they get the ace, they pick up some of those bounties, and they clean up this Kraken. But they're on a knife's edge here, Dowsy. Like, one more misstep, we're out of lifeboats. Like, they're just going to go down with the ship at this point.
That's it. It's it is exactly it. Titanic has hit the iceberg, and well, the children and the women might be able to get on the lifeboat. Will
It is
this
Leonardo
Avia
DiCaprio,
challenges.
though.
There's room. I'll bring you with me. It's fine. You can come.
Maybe.
Jack.
Maybe.
Come with me.
It's still a pretty overwhelming gold difference. So even with that ace, the Kraken, there was a lot of gold brought back, but I don't know if it's enough.
That's the sentry eliminated. Unfortunately, not going to be getting on this door today. Here comes the fight as Avia Bowl going to be looking to try and find the engage, but Yummy Captain Frenzy going to lock down the sky. Noah looking for a chakram right through everyone, but it's going to be the first kill going Caps' way. Noah is going to find the first. Can he find the second? Yes, he can. The third going to come through as the chakram. No, doesn't quite get the return, but supportal combat. Prey last man alive. 30 seconds for a Lyra to finish the game. Do you believe, Twitch chat?
He missed with the book. As soon as he cleans up these minions, I think that will be it, Dowsy. But supportal comment, like if that last chakram had actually cleaved through, would have been a really nice wave to end off, because it would have been 9, 6, and 4 there for Noah. But yeah, the ace buff minions, no problem. Prey to clean it up as the last man standing, and Dowsy. That is it. We say goodbye to the Avia Challengers, and Team Gravity will continue to float their way through here in the lower bracket.
That's it. Unfortunately, frozen to death were the Avia Challengers, as, well, that is the last we'll see of them, unfortunately, for Split 2. It always sucks as Scoundrel to say goodbye to teams in the Challenger Series. You know, no one really enjoys it, but that is the way with these elimination tournaments.
Yeah, I'm afraid that is the way there, Delsey. As you can see, let's have a look at the build paths of these guys before we head over towards closing out today's Vainglory League Spring Split. Caps went for that 4-item build that seems to be pretty popular right now. The Bonesaw, the Breaking Point in the Solar Blade with the Tyrant's Monocle on the end too. That's what you saw at the end. There was actually, in the elongated fight, he was getting the upper hand. The damage output he had was insane. But gotta say, some of the choice fights that I think that when it was Avia looking to make the plays, when it was Avia looking to try and force the fights, they didn't seem like they really knew what they wanted to achieve. They actually seemed to do better when they were reacting to engages by Team Gravity. Towards the end there, I thought maybe there's a chance that this gets pushed to another game, but with that Idris build, like, when he gets on someone, they're probably dead. Like, and there wasn't really that much armor apart from the Atlas Pauldrons picked up there for its bolts, so, you know, if Idris gets onto you with that kind of build, and I'm sure you'll know, Dowsey, you're probably killing someone 9 times out of 10. Someone will die. So he was obviously a really big threat there for Team Gravity. But that is it. That is us all finished and wrapped up here at the second day of week 1? Yeah, week 1, day 2 of the Vainglory League. This is our second day. So we're all wrapped up here today and seen some really good games. Let's just have a quick look over the games that we have seen before we head out here. Let's have a look. For Justice versus THN Envy. Actually, For Justice getting knocked out by THN Envy in a great game at the start of the day. Team Queso swept aside, make EU great again. Just a 2-0 stomp for them. Really didn't feel like it was close at all, unfortunately. And then, again, we just saw at the end here, Team Gravity and Avia Challengers, a similar story. That was in the losers bracket. Team Gravity felt like they just had the upper hand in both games and really pushed the advantage in both sets. So it was two sort of quick games at the end here, but it was a really good 3-game series to start the day off with THN Envy and For Justice into a really, really strong best of 3.
Yeah, that was definitely going to be the hallmark here for me today, because game 3s, it's nothing about the teams. It's just game 3s have a natural tendency of being hyped. It's just like everything's on the line. It's the last chance, all the marbles, and that adds a certain degree of interesting like change up of behavior. Either you kind of gamble and like an all-in strike, or you play super safe. Like, it's very interesting to see how mentalities change on that one. But a 2-0 sweep is just the sign of a very confident team as well.
Absolutely. Dalcy and Forker, we'll be seeing you next week, I believe. I do have the pleasure. I'll have the pleasure of both of you here next week. I will double check. I'm assuming that's the case, but I'll probably see you both next week on the 18th. So the next stream that we have going is the 18th of April at 6 o'clock CEST, so Central European Summertime. We'll have the 6 o'clock stream starting as usual, so same time, same place over here at twitch.tv/Vainglory League, as well as our other streaming outlets on YouTube and Mob Crush and so on. So plenty of ways that you can watch the Vainglory League here in Europe, and we'll have all the teams ramping up towards that playoff bracket, because I believe this is a 3-week season. So we're actually cutting it down to 3 weeks this time round. So we should have our playoff bracket decided by the end of next week. And if so, then you'll be having all the excitement in the last week of that April as well. I won't be here in the last week of April. I believe you'll have Tomek or Dowsey hosting that one because I will be in Seville. But obviously, yeah, Dowsey might be hosting that one, yeah. I'll be in Seville in the last week of April, so I won't be here for the third week of the season. But it's going to be an exciting, quick season here at Vainglory League, getting those challenge battles ready for the end of the next split, because remember, VG8 is also a fairly short split in our anticipation for the London Live Combined Championships. From myself, Dowsey and Forecourt, thank you very much, and we will see you next week. Remember, 18th of April at the same time and the same place.